27 years ago, Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters, and as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became two, and the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato O'Ward, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Welcome, race fans from all around the world to the Florida Winter Tour Round 2 of the ROK Cup. My name is DJ Clark, joined here in the commentary booth by Jason Ewers. And if you're feeling a little bit like David Crosby right now, in that I feel like you've been here before, well, you're not wrong, because for the second time in a single month, we go racing once again from the Orlando Kart Center. Going to start things off today with heat racing in the 206 senior category. Dylan Amundsen out in pole position, as we would expect from what we saw from him last time out. Jason, this is really a competition to see who can catch Amundsen at the front.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's some new names to the list this week with the 206. So it's going to be interesting to see. The spread that Amundsen had last time is not nearly as much as it has been from the previous race that we watched him in. So hopefully someone can give him a run.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Drivers right now making their way through turns 11 and 12, down through turn 13. Keep an eye on this area on the circuit. This was a sneaky overtaking opportunity when we were here about a month ago. But there you see the karts making their way on out right now. Amundsen in that number 36, closest to your screen on the inside, lining into the start zones, getting the official go-ahead from the flagmen as they get ready to go racing here at the Orlando Kart Center. Getting towards that start line as there goes the green for the second time in a month. We are racing from the Orlando Kart Center. It will be 10 minutes plus 2 laps as the field works its way down through turns 1 and 2. Amundsen leads the way up at the front of the field.
Yeah, it looks like that inside line seems to be continuing what had happened the first time around, just dominant coming into that turn 1.
Well, it's very tricky. It's going to be a little bit different this time around. Not as much rain as we had last time here, so that's going to change things around a little bit. But we'll have to see how the rest of this field continues to go right now. Good battle here. Second and third, keeping it close with Amundsen. That's McCarthy and Yanko right behind him. 2 Canadians joining the field here for the 206s.
Yeah, it looks like McCarthy here's got a run on Yanko. They don't need to be fighting right now. You know, we know what Amundsen can do with the lead, and last thing they need to do is sit there and battle and let him get some ground.
Yeah, that's the 67 of Owen McCarthy in that red and white kart that you just saw make the move on Eli Yanko. That's going to allow, I believe, for Cariotti to be able to close in 4th place. But Amundsen starting to stretch that gap up at the front of the field. They're going to push their way on through right now as they come across the line. We'll be able to get an update on that timing and scoring. Amundsen, McCarthy, Yanko, that's Coggins, Mache, King. Cariotti's fallen all the way back down to 7th place, and Riley McDill rounds out your field in P8.
Yep, I think Amundsen's pretty much in control again here. He's just keeping that kart smooth, rolling through, keeping the RPMs up on it. Let's see if McCarthy can run him down.
Yeah, that's going to be a question here. Now that McCarthy's been able to get by Yanko, it's going to be that sort of cat and mouse game a little bit. Got to say, looked like Owen McCarthy able to carry some good speed going down into turn 7 and 8 through the junkyard turn, as we like to say, of turn 9. And he's definitely got to run that gap.
You got to run on that lap. We'll see what happens here. I mean, if I'm Edmondson, I'm kind of happy right now. Like, I have someone to run against. Winning by 20-something seconds the last races, it gets a little bored out there by yourself. So this is going to be exciting. Hopefully we can have some good battle up front.
Well, how many times have we seen karters or drivers get out of their respective machines and have a huge grin on their face, even if they finish second in the running, if it's been a good, clean battle? And McCarthy here certainly making it that battle, starting to close in here a little bit more in that number 67 Kart.
Half a second faster that lap.
Yeah, he's got the speed.
Yeah, let's see if Amundsen feels the heat here and starts putting the pedal down.
Well, let's keep an eye here as they come down out of turn 5 right now, down into turn 6. This is really where we noticed McCarthy be able to get that run out of the left-handed hairpin. Looks like Amundsen was able to get a little bit better of a run there. Going to try to keep him at bay, but McCarthy definitely piling on the pressure.
Yeah, this is where he ran him down last time and got that pretty good run down that backstretch. So looks like he did it again. I don't know if it's the difference in gearing they have or maybe McCarthy's chassis is just a little bit more free than what Admondson's is right now.
Yeah, and that Burrell Art red and white Kart closing in behind. Down through turn 10 they go. Lost a little bit of time, it looks like. I wonder if that was a result. I saw him coming down on the curbing through turn 8. There was a little bit of a bounce there by McCarthy, so that could have cost him a little bit of time. They're going to come back across the start-finish line here at this point. 6 minutes and 40 seconds left to go on the clock. Let's see what that gap is. It has doubled. It's up to 0.6 of a second. So Amundsen responding well. Cariotti able to gain a position over Riley McDill as it looks like Eric King has fallen back into 8th.
Yeah, and as you're looking here at McCarthy, like as a driver, you're sitting there, what am I doing? You're just watching the guy in front of you just step out a little bit each lap, and you're trying to drive as smooth as you can because there's no power in these motors. So you make a mistake, that's when you see the person in front of you just start checking out. So you got to be as smooth as you can. Like you noticed, he hit a hop, he hopped that cart, it causes the cart to dig in, and it bogs that motor down. That's just causing you to lose speed.
And just those little minuscule tenths, that's all that Amundsen needs to be able to continue to pull away. This is exactly what we saw him do last time we were here. Just continuing to build that gap here as they come down through 11 and 12. I've got to say, again, McCarthy, that line through turn 8, let's keep an eye on it next time by. It does look like he's just a little too aggressive with that curbing, and that's unsettling the kart a little bit, losing a little bit of that momentum and popping 2 tires up into the air.
Yeah, and I mean, you're looking at McCarthy's running some consistent laps, 189s, 90s, and Amundsen as well, but they're just 2 to 3 tenths faster.
Well, and that was what really was the death knell for the rest of this field when it came to Dylan Amundsen last time out, is that he was able to run those quick laps and just consistent laps. Nothing seemed like it flustered Dylan Amundsen, and that's definitely what we want to see here out of him yet again. That's how you handle that curbing. Maybe just use it a little bit to rotate the kart and not let it get too disrupted.
Yeah, and we talked about this before, is Amundsen's on that VLR chassis, which I believe is out of TS Racing, which is Todd Spouty down in Florida here. So Todd's been always great at knowing how they make karts work for these lower horsepowers. Obviously, he's got Amundsen's just dialed in. It's not a fluke, the reason why he won by 20-plus seconds the last time. Well,
and let's think back to that whole weekend we were here for round 1 of the Florida Winter Tour. It was really as a result, it was Amundsen just time after time after time, every heat, the pre-final, the final, no one could touch him. I think, if memory serves, he was the only karter to be able to sweep his field the entire weekend.
Yeah, and as you're sitting here, I'm just looking at the timing and scoring here, and I'm watching McCarthy. McCarthy's just, is it consistent? 105.87, 105.8. I mean, he's just turning 105.88. So he's got to figure out a way to get that car freed up. Maybe his gear is off a little bit. Something. He's not far off from Amundsen. I mean, he was 0.3 off in qualifying, and it looks like he's about 0.3 off right here during the race. So he's got to, you go back to your pitch, you talk to your engineer, you try to game plan it, you get your data off of your dash, and you try to figure out what we need to do to be able to at least get up there and battle for the lead.
Well, I want to give him some credit. We've been talking a lot about that turn 8, the kind of bump there, and McCarthy's line through there. When we just saw him come by on this last lap, McCarthy actually changed his line, didn't go as aggressively through there, maybe kind of recognizing what we saw, and set a personal best lap in the process. Still about 0.1 of a second slower than Dylan Amundsen, but this could maybe be a little bit of a learning situation for Owen McCarthy. This isn't a driver that we had last time we were here, so maybe as this weekend goes along, we'll see a little bit more competition and this gap start to diminish.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're exactly right. He's probably learning from Edmondson. And picking up his lines and like, oh, this line works a little bit faster. And he's seeing his timing as he goes across the timing on his dash on his cart. So he's like, all right, I'm 0.3 faster this lap. So he's knowing and working that cart. And that's what good drivers do. You know, if you're not catching the guy in front of you driving your current line, then you've got to try something a little bit different. You know, when you're as consistent as he was, you know, running 105.8s and he changes one little thing and now he's 105.4s, you know, that's great driving.
Yeah, and that's heads-up driving. And as you said, probably learning a few things from being able to follow behind Amundsen. Amundsen comes across the line here, no improvement there. Back down to a 105.95 for McCarthy, so lost about 0.5 of a second in the running on that last lap. That gap is going to expand up to about 1.8 seconds. Farther way back down in the field, Eli Yanko continues to hold on to third place, really in an island unto himself. Good little battle for fourth, though. Mache, Coggins, McDill, Cariotti all running within a second of each other.
Yeah, I saw that Yanko just set his personal best that, so he's also figuring out his cart as the run get a little bit longer. Because remember, their practice sessions, aren't quite as long as the race session. So they're figuring the carts out and they're guessing on tire pressures or what you got to go out in. It's just all learning for them. So that's why you always kind of take the first heat as. You try to go out and game plan as best you can and then use that as kind of like where you set the rest of the weekend from.
A little bit of a run here. I think that's Cariotti has been able to get by Riley McDill. That's going to be for sixth place. The battle you watch right now, that's the 48 of Mache leading the way over Coggins, Cariotti, and McDill. Mache and Cariotti, both teammates here. Oh, as we've got a cart around, I think that could have been Michael Coggins, and indeed it is. Coggins around coming through the final corner.
Yeah, I was seeing them they were coming down into turn 10 and being a little aggressive there, so obviously they must have got a little too aggressive going in.
All right, Mache going to be able to hold on. That's going to grow that gap to about 0.8 of a second. McDill has been able to move his way up into fifth place, courtesy of that little incident that we saw. Cariotti drops down to sixth. Coggins all the way down to seventh. Eric King up, still running in eighth place as they go. Checking back in on that battle for the lead, as it looks like Amundsen just continuing to press his advantage as much as possible, really starting to pull away. We take a look back here, farther back down in the field. I believe that's the battle. I think that is fourth. That's not Mache's cart, though. I'm not sure who that is.
No,
big move down to the inside. Maybe this is Coggins, Cariotti, and King.
That's for fifth. Yeah, or sixth. Yeah.
All right, there they go. That's number 28 cart. That is indeed Cariotti that was just passed. So if I'm going to have to be a betting man, I think that was Michael Coggins that was able to get by him. And Coggins, we know, has the speed to be able to pull that out, running as high as fourth place, or his fifth place earlier on. Coggins moving back into sixth. Cariotti falling down into seventh after a good start. King in eighth, but King looking like he may have a little bit of a move here coming down into turn number 5. Not enough to get it to play. And remember, you see that switch over on the top of your screen. It is 10 minutes plus 3 laps. Or plus 2 laps, excuse me. That was a little bit of a Freudian slip there. Plus 2 laps as they come in. So that's why it's listed as 3 laps right now. They will take that 2 to go next time by.
Yeah, and that's the format for all the heats. And then when we get to the pre-finals and finals, it gets a little bit longer. 12 minutes and 17 minutes for our senior classes.
Yeah, and it'll be a little bit less for the micros and the minis, which will be coming up shortly, so make sure to stay tuned for that. The battle continuing on here, as it looks like Eric King has been able to get by Cariotti at the moment, so that's going to be able to be that number 28 car.
Oh, way wide.
That's not the line you want to take.
No. I mean, I wonder if I haven't been on the track yet today. I'm just kind of curious. We have had no rain. Mm-hmm. So we've been on dries the whole entire time. So Thursday was all-day practice. Today, this morning, heats and qualifying, or not heats, practice and qualifying. So there's probably a good little marble buildup out there on the track right now. So you get out of that racing line, I think you see exactly what just happened.
All right, speaking of what's about to happen here, a little bit of teammate battle. Blake Mache leading Riley McDill. That's the 48 and the 49, both in that sort of teal and white livery. As we said last time out, kind of reminiscent of the old Leighton House liveries that we used to see in Formula One.
Absolutely. So we've got, Admonson still just checking out, just set his, still 105.35. Yeah, I think McCarthy's just kind of settling in right now as well. Just like, okay, what do I need to do when I get back in? Download my data and figure out what we need to do. And I won't be surprised if he doesn't find some speed there. You got to dig for something when you can't catch the leader.
Yeah, you really have to dig deep to try to be able to find something like that. White flag is in the air for Dylan Amundsen right now. A 3.2 second gap at the line at the last time of asking. There he is on your screen, making his way down through that sort of infield section, going down into the junkyard turn of turn 9. Going to bring his way onto the back straightaway. A little bit of a look over that right shoulder to make sure he had plenty of space. Don't worry, Dylan. You've got plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And McCarthy's like, man. He had it. He was there for a couple laps, but, Amundsen just stayed cool and calm and collective and doesn't make any mistakes.
Well, the other thing here, I think if you're Owen McCarthy, knowing how you're going to move on into Heat 2, maybe be a little bit more aggressive the next time it comes around, try to get that gap down, maybe get in front of him. But as we said many times in round 1, round 2, Heat 1 goes to Dylan Amundsen up at the front of the field, the number 36 taking victory once again. Owen McCarthy slots in behind him, and then it will be Eli Yanko to round out your podium positions. McCarthy and Yanko, two drivers that actually weren't here last time around, so definitely a learning experience for them. But speaking of learning, good to see the speed here out of the 48 and the 49 of Mache and McDill. They were a little bit farther down in the running when we were here about a month ago. Good to see that speed increasing here and getting a solid top 5 for that team.
Yeah, and third place Yanko comes in, and he's not far off. His consistency's not quite there so much. I think he maybe overdrove the Kart a little bit early, trying to stay up with McCarthy and Amundsen. But, maybe he'll make some changes on his Kart and just be right there with and maybe we can have a 3-kart run.
Yeah, we'd love to see that here in this 206 category. It'd be a lot of fun to be able to get them out and around. But that is going to be your first heat race of the day as we get ready to switch on over. A little bit of a change, a little bit of a different way to run as we get ready for the micros to head out onto track. Now, this will be 8 minutes plus 2 laps for them. So a little bit of a change, and that'll be the same way for the micros and the minis, as, of course, these are the categories for the younger drivers.
Yeah, it's definitely we talked about this last time, is the best racing on the track. Literally, some of the youngest drivers we have here, but the best racecraft that I see normally.
Yeah, I was really struck last time around by the racecraft, as you said, the heads up, the sportsmanship among these drivers. There was some very, very good running for all of them, and it was a real treat to be able to see them. And we have to remember, these are very, very young karters, and what's great is to see that kind of heads up and that sportsmanship, that ability to drive cleanly. That's just going to continue on, and this is very much the next generation working their way on up.
Yeah, it really is. And to think about that, these kids aren't even 10 years old.
Mind blowing.
Or at 10. So it's amazing what they can do and the composure that they have. And we've talked about this before. These, they'll sit there and be competitors on the track, and then when they're off the track, they're buddies. Sit and play. They throw the football. They're hanging out and doing what kids do.
I was walking through the paddock a little bit earlier, said hi to some friends that I know from a few other series, but how many times are you seeing, whether it's trash can basketball that they're playing or just throwing a tennis ball back and forth? Very much kids being kids, and it's really kind of cool to be able to see. You always love to be able to see that. But familiar names up at the front here, it is going to be Alvaro Medeiros, and then an unfamiliar name in Bernardo Kupel. That will be P2. Aiden Go, Zev Godschalk will be in the row behind them.
Yeah, I got I don't know the teammates up front, but we got a couple countrymen together.
Yeah, a couple of Brazilians, not altogether unsurprising. A very hardy contingent of Brazilians. Always in any racing category you see, you will always see that Brazilian flag flying. The racing culture from there is.
And why is that? What comes from Brazil?
Oh, there's a couple names that are ringing in my head. Fittipaldi, PK, Senna, Massa. They all kind of got. That was the conversation I had. I have this. This is a Senna tribute watch, and one of my buddies who is Brazilian recognized that, and I was like, "Oh, that's great."
Is that a player's livery?
I think it might be. That looks a little bit like at least an homage to the old classic team Lotus that used to run for Goupert there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're gonna trying to see. I don't know if they are teammates. I know it looks like Goupert is on a Lando Norris chassis, but definitely doesn't look like he's part of the Orsilon team. So we'll see if they're going to work together as countrymen or fight as not as teammates. So.
Well, we will see indeed as they come through the final corner here, turn 13. It is going to be Alvaro Medeiros that will lead us to the green as they get their way into that starting zone here at this point. Oh, that's a little bit of an early start from Medeiros. They're going to get on it early, and that I'm not surprised by that. False start being thrown. That was a very, very early run from Medeiros, and you saw quite a few hands in the back of the field waving as if to say, hey, come on, that one's not okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just to remember here that this mini ROK series presented by AM Engines, we are so very thankful to them to be able to bring them on board.
Yeah, actually, it's the micro.
Oh, that's Orsilon. Excuse me,
it's Orsilon.
Orsilon Racing.
And we're kind of going. You guys get to. I've been walking around the pits. On this downtime that we've had, and been interviewing our sponsors. We feel like we owe them. We can't do this without our sponsors, and kind of gave them a little bit of time. So you'll be hearing some clips of some of these interviews that we have with our sponsors.
Yeah, very, very thankful. As you said, racing definitely one of those sports that you really can't do without sponsors. It is very, very sponsor dependent.
Oh, absolutely. So here we go. Line up again. Let's see what they do. Let's see if Medeiros must be a little nervous. Little jump start there, but we'll see what happens. But these kids are usually pretty good.
He is coming through with a little bit of a head of steam here on this parade lap. Definitely a little bit of running as they go. All right, they're going to come back in right now. Back into the zone. They're booking it again.
They're just not messing around.
Couple of carts out of line.
And outside line takes the lead right there. That's not very common for us to see. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if Medeiros is like, nope, we're just going to let him lead for a little bit and just follow.
And it looks like he's going to try to get the run here coming out of turn 5. It's not going to play out. But as you said earlier, everybody through cleanly. Big gaggle farther in the back, but it looks like pretty spread out up front. They're going to be in good spot.
Yeah, so don't forget the other ones. Gottschalk, Nario. We got to keep an eye on those kids. There were podiums last time. I don't know. Is Nario? Yeah, Nario is here. He qualified 8th, so he's got a little room to make up there.
All right, there's that sort of signature head duck that they'll do down the back straightaway as they try to be able to get their way down into turn 10. Trying to move their way ahead right now. Goupert is going to be in that lead, jumping, hopping, skipping over the curbs. I believe that's Zev Gottschalk trying to close in third. He may have fallen down a little bit farther in the order. There they are, just trying to will themselves ahead as much as possible. Aiden Go now up into third. Gottschalk has dropped down to fourth. Francisco is 5th, Westbrook 6th, and Carvalho 7th. We keep our eyes fixed on this battle with Goupert and Medeiros up at the front of the field. They're starting to form a little bit of a two-car breakaway. Goupert in that black and yellow cart, definitely reminiscent of classic Team Lotus, with Medeiros closing in behind, getting a good run down into turn 9. They're going to keep pushing ahead, and here he comes. Check behind for Medeiros, but he better be looking ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, though, I was just looking at the qualifying here. I mean, we had the top 16 all within a second.
Yeah, these are very, very quick and very compacted and close drivers for all of this field. So it's going to be a very, very close run. You come down. Ooh, big hop of the curve there for Medeiros. He is in full attack mode here.
Yeah, you could see that stretch, the lead stretch out there, because he did hit that curb a little too much.
Yeah.
There's a fine line of how much curb you want to take and how much curb you don't want to take.
Now, that was interesting. Watching Klubo Gobert and Medeiros there, bits of oversteer coming through turns 1 and 2. Gobert had it in turn 1, and then turn 2, it was Medeiros.
Yeah, I think Medeiros is just watching Glupert kind of step out a little bit and maybe just pushing a little too hard. He needs to calm down, collect himself, and just click off good, steady laps.
Well, and we've talked about this earlier. We talked about this when we were here last time. There's a couple of things to think about. These Levanto tires will really hold up over the course of a weekend. Don't have to worry about that. But the air pressure change over the course of a heat like this can really affect it. So there may be a little bit of a heads up here from Alvaro Medeiros, thinking about, okay, maybe this kart's going to come in a little bit later. I hold back and wait and maximize when that tire pressure is perfect.
Yeah, we just have to see here what he does. I mean, right now it looks like Gubert's got kind of the race in his hands where he wants it and just running nice, smooth lines and really kind of starting to stretch out. What is he? I mean, he's 0.3 faster.
Yeah, 0.3 faster here as he comes down into turn 5. Nice little battle starting to play out between Godsjock and Francisco. That's going to be for P4, right on the back of this leading pack. They're going to try to keep things together as they continue to work their way now down through turns 7 and 8. There you see that is your leader, and this is the battle now for third place. Aiden Go trying to hold off Zev Godsjock as Godsjock gets a monster run out of turn 9.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, with that trio right there tagged up, if they don't do anything stupid and they work together, they are going to end up catching Medeiros.
Yeah, I think they will as well. Medeiros looking like he's lost a little bit of pace. This could be the situation we've also talked about, maybe running a little bit higher tire pressures, and those tires come in very, very quickly, but then lag a little bit later on in the race, and Medeiros may be hoping to build a lead early, and obviously with the attack here from Kupel Gubert not really coming into play.
Yeah, Gubert's got to just set the fast lap of the race there, half a second faster.
And just starting to pull away, but this battle for P2 really starting to hot up here. Francisco thinking about applying some pressure to the back of Godsjock. Godsjock going to be able to hold coming into the corner, but he's got to be having chameleon eyes right now, looking ahead and looking behind as he's trying to catch in on Aiden Go as well. He's really the meat in the sandwich.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be worried about what's in front of him. He needs to be worried about what's behind him, and it's coming fast.
Yeah, certainly is. There they go. A little bit of a squiggle for Aiden Go on the binders coming down into turn 10. Love that little bit of a synchronized look from behind with Godsjock and Francisco as they both checked behind them coming out of turn 10. Now down through turn 13. They all run. Medeiros still falling back into the clutches here of Go, but Godsjock thought about a little bit of a look to the inside of Aiden Go. That's not going to play, and they'll stay in single file order through turn 4.
Yeah, that trio's 0.2 faster, so it's going to be. They're there. So.
Yeah. They are there. This is battle on. It is game on for these drivers. Good run off of the line there for Zev Godsjock, but coming down into turn 7, that's a difficult area to make it past. We saw some drivers be able to pull off a sneaky move down into turn 9 a couple of weeks ago, but it looks like that's not going to be sneaky enough for Godsjock. Just didn't have the momentum. He'll stay in line behind Aiden Go for now.
Yep, and it looks like they kind of just have equalized right now. So that gap between, Medeiros and Go has kind of stayed the same. Let's see. I know that looked like Go kind of made a mistake, and that allowed Godsjock to catch up on him, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting final here. We've got 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, no concerns up front for Kupel Gubert as that gap has expanded up to about a full second. Getting close to running a sub 1 minute mark here. Poke out for Zev Godsjock as that third kart in line tries to be able to find his way ahead. Medeiros in the green and white machine continues to lead it. The red and white of Aiden Go holds on to that third place position. The pink and white there of Godsjock. Francisco looks like he's starting to drop off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't catch him. They're running blistering laps. Even Godsjock running blistering laps. It's just not quite enough. And like I said, Francisco just a tenth or two slower right now, and that could be because he's out of the draft right now.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be very, very close. We've got to remember, normally when we talk about bigger machines, whether it's GT or Formula cars, normally it's about 1 second. These cars are running, the karts are running significantly less speed, so that draft going to be a little bit different. But these three, second, third, and fourth, Medeiros go and God's Chalk on your screen right now. Everybody checking behind. Anybody going to have a peek into turn one? No. The restraint here is very impressive from the likes of Aiden Go and Zev God's Chalk.
Well, I can tell right now, Go knows if he sticks it in on Medeiros.
Oh, here he comes!
Chalk right there. That's exactly what he was worried about. Now, will they work together or are they going to fight? You can't work that way because this is going to let Go just check out. And look who joined the trio again.
That's
Francisco.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Francisco right back into the middle of it. So God's Chalk in that number one cart now going to be able to start pulling away a little bit. If he can, it really looks like here that Go is all over that rear bumper, almost giving him a little bit of a bump draft, maybe a little hop, skip, and a jump there, trying to be given for Alvaro Medeiros. But that's not going to play. Here they come. Medeiros is pushing. You can see him wheeling that cart forward coming out of turn 10.
Yeah, and he's just not getting any faster. I mean, that's the issue right now. Like, we talked about the air pressures. He probably went out maybe with a little too high air pressures. Now the cart's starting to just get a little over tight, and he's just ended up just a little bit slower than the rest of the carts that are in that little pack with him. But like we talked about last time, you can catch him, how easy it is to pass him.
Exactly, especially at this circuit. You got to be a little bit sneaky. Turn 5, one of the areas, as we saw last time, was Zev Godschalk sending that big move down to the inside of Aiden Go. But I've got to say here, Zev Godschalk just about caught the back of Alvaro Medeiros. Now, it's going to be close when they come to the line, whether or not this is 3 or 2 laps to go. They cross the stripe here with just about a minute on the clock.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where that's at because it just depends on where Goopert's at. And the kid's driving a great race. Considering he wasn't here for the first round, I don't think he was here last week for SCUSA either, so I know he's a fresh one.
And that makes this even more impressive that he is able to master this track. Big move down to the inside. Godschalk to the inside of Medeiros. That's going to set up a potential 3-wide. Is sneaking through all of it as Aiden Go. He comes from 4th to 2nd. Great heads up for Aiden Go.
Absolutely. Oh, and then all of a sudden you got Medeiros right there taking a spot back.
And it looks like 3 to go for these drivers at the line. Medeiros trying to be able to fight back a little bit on the back of Aiden Go right now into turn 5. That won't play. Francisco, courtesy of the battle, has been able to catch back up to it. So right now it's Go, Medeiros, Godschalk, Francisco as they run 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, and Godschalk, who is that? Is that Medeiros? Yeah, Medeiros is just all over Go's bumper.
Yeah, really hunting the back there. There's a couple looks behind for Aiden Go, keeping an eye on where that green and white cart is going to try to plant itself. Maybe a little bit of how you doing through the corner there for Medeiros.
You couldn't put a piece of paper between that bumpers.
Yeah, but look at the run there. That was at least a cart length advantage that Aiden Go was able to get over Medeiros, so certainly coming into play there.
Yeah, we got a couple carts out up there. I don't know who that was. Looks like there's a little accident going into, what would that be, 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah, we keep our eyes fixed here for the moment on this battle. Go continues to lead. Officially 2 laps to go when they cross the stripe. Go, Medeiros, Godschalk, Francisco. Interesting to see here. I'm going to keep my eye on Zev Godschalk, as Godschalk was the one that really precipitated all of this insanity, sending that big move up into the inside of turn 5 just a few laps ago.
Yeah, we got a couple duos here, so let's see. We got 2 laps to go. What is that? Medeiros is now, or is that Go?
That is Medeiros up at the lead of this, so he's been able to get by Go. I think that was a sneaky move thrown down into turn 9 that we may have just kind of missed there.
I had to take a little water break for a second there, and I look down, and all of a sudden I see Medeiros leading.
Here they come onto the front straightaway. They should collect the white flag this time by everybody checking behind them. Medeiros leads Go. Godschalk, Francisco.
Oh, Medeiros a little wide on that, a little late on the brakes, pushed the cart up high.
And that was all the opportunity Aiden Go needed to be able to take it. Now tries to defend. I saw that bumper pop up a little bit from Medeiros. Definitely contact. It's shimmying and shaking ever so slightly. I hope that's not a push-down bumper.
We'll see. Doesn't look like it's down, but Hard to tell sometimes.
Hard to tell sometimes. They're going to bring their way down through turn 8. This is that sneaky move down into 9. Immediate defensive line there from Aiden Go. He knows where that attack is going to be coming from, and that's going to send Medeiros around to the outside. Go holds it on. He's going to be able to hold on to it here as they continue to push ahead. Medeiros trailing Go right now, having to defend from Zev Gottschalk as they come down through 11 and 12. Goopert up at the front of the field. No concern to any of this. He is going to cross the stripe and take victory in heat number 1. Aiden Go going to try to hold it out. Here comes Gottschalk at the line, wheeling it forward. Gottschalk by a single hundredth of a second loses out to Medeiros.
Yeah, what a finish. And as usual, no disappointment.
None.
Youngest shows us the best racing out there.
Absolutely fantastic racing for all of these karters. Again, this is the micro category, our youngest karters out there. Just remarkable.
Oh, absolutely. I always enjoy watching them. It's such a great. And then the best thing is, like, we know this is Heat 1, but they all hug each other, give each other congratulations like it's the final.
Exactly. And that's exactly the kind of competition that you really want to see amongst these drivers, that sort of friendly back and forth that really exists. It's what makes this so special, that you can be battling wheel to wheel and absolutely going at it, and then, as you said, give that hug as soon as they come back into
Oh, yeah, that's what we love about the sport. I mean, these kids have spent 6 weeks pretty much down here in Central Florida. So if you weren't friends, you're definitely friends now. All right, what do we got coming up? We got the VLR Junior coming up next.
So this should be a relatively full field here at this point. A very good running. If we remember last time around, Victor Alencar was able to take victory when we were here just a couple of weeks ago. Vanchev and Dupuis came in third. The Canadian Dupuis doing a really impressive job. He's going to be one to watch out for, I definitely think. Vanchev was able to put that car in pole position, however, so definitely one to watch out for there.
Yeah, and if I recall from the last race, the battle up front was good.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
This was one of the series that I had circled coming into the weekend as really one that was going to provide some good racing action. We will have to take probably a minute or two here. I'm seeing a couple of karts being put on the rollback right now, so they're going to bring everything in. We're going to take a quick break away from the microphones here, play a little bit, and we'll be back with you shortly when we're able to go.
"27 years ago, Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters, and as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became 2, and the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato Award, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America, and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Welcome back to the ROK Cup Florida Winter Tour. DJ Clark joined up here in the commentary booth alongside Jason Ewers. And Jason, time to amp up the horsepower. It's time to go racing for ROK GP Junior.
Yeah, the VLR class here, it's probably one of my favorite classes out here. The VLR engine is a self-starting engine, just like the rest, even with the micros, but a little bit more horsepower here.
A little bit more horsepower, going to be a little bit faster. And one of the interesting things that we like to kind of keep an eye on here in this series is you'll notice that sort of radiator, the air intake off to the driver's left of the karts. A lot of these teams will start with some tape on that to try to hold it in, and we'll see how that plays it out, that they'll actually be taking that tape off over the course of the race. So that can sometimes be a little bit of an interesting talking point, a little bit of manual changes going on over the course of a race.
Yeah, and I said VLR. I meant ROK GP. So, yeah, that's my fault right there. It's still early in the broadcast, folks.
We'll get up and rolling. We'll be perfect by Sunday. Don't you worry. But right now, as they bring their way on through, that is the 207 in pole position right now. That is Cole Medeiros going to be leading that field around to green. Medeiros finished 6th last time out, did suffer a penalty, and so that is one of the reasons why he started farther back in the field, but a part of a proud racing stable with Racers Edge Motorsports. That is a racing organization that has fields all the way up through the ranks, all the way into GT World Challenge America, so very good to see them out there. But that is going to be Medeiros in that black and purple machine as the green flag flies, and there is a very, very slow getaway for P2 there. Not entirely sure what happened, but that really sent just shockwaves through the rest of the field.
Yeah, sometimes if you don't have those motors cleaned up, it loads up and it gets bogs down with too much fuel in the motor, and it just kind of gives you that hesitation.
All right, so Medeiros going to be leading here right now, going to pull away as they continue to try to go down into turn 7. This sweeping part of the track, always a little bit difficult to try to get grip, and you've really got to test the car out as much as possible. And now we're going to see exactly how it goes. Sarah Bradley also in this field. She's going to be trying to work her way forward a little bit, poke to the inside there from P4 as they continue to try to pull their way up ahead. Everyone trying to see if they're able to get any runs, but it's relatively single file here through 11 and 12 and now down into turn 13.
Yeah, absolutely. Medeiros is definitely one of the faster karts out there, but let's see, you were coming off of Vanchev, who won last week with Scusa out here, so we're going to end up seeing if he can work his way up. He didn't have the best qualifying run there, qualifying 7th, but let's see if he can work his way up through the field.
Oh, big defensive line there from Medeiros. That almost opens the door to Sarah Bradley, but Jose Schmeier is going to be the one trying to take a peek in there. Schmeier running 3rd, Bradley in 2nd right now as they try to pull their way ahead. Shermer, excuse me, I can't read.
That's all right.
Told you we'd get better by Sunday.
Absolutely, that's one of the easiest names to know. You pronounce the other ones fantastic. Shermer.
Sure. In my defense, I was looking across the room at the time of scoring. We didn't have it quite up on the screen yet, but there we've got it.
I got the Harry Carey glasses on, so I can see 25 miles away.
Yeah, there you go. Edward Kennedy runs 4th, Vanchev 5th right now. Dupuy, another driver to keep an eye out for. As we said, he really fought his way through the field over the course of a weekend. And he runs 6th. Dupuy actually in 5th now. So this battle for the top 4. Micro breakaway, let's call it. Look behind there from Cole Medeiros. Again, a very defensive line, but that sets up a little bit of a run, and Edward Kennedy able to get a run there as the 269 jumps into P3.
Yeah, battling early here in the race. They don't want to sit around. I would assume that they would have kind of just filed in and just waited for the last couple laps to go to battle, but I don't think Kennedy wants to play that strategy.
I don't think he does either. Didn't want to get necessarily stuck behind Jose Shermer and wanted to move his way ahead. The 269 of Kennedy really seemed aggressive there. Did not want to wait in that order. They'll come down into turn 13 at this point, get their way back onto the front straightaway. Medeiros starting to stretch a little bit of an advantage. If I'm Sarah Bradley, I've got to be a little bit worried here about Edward Kennedy. Kennedy just set the fastest lap of the race, and he is coming on like a train with a full head of steam.
Yeah, his energy kart has definitely got the fastest kart, or fastest 4 wheels on the track right now, and Bradley's got that speed chassis that she needs to, oh, never mind. Yeah. Kennedy just got around, worked that over-under like we talk about right there. But let's see if Bradley can fight back and get her spot back.
Well, this was the area that she was able to set a couple of sneaky moves down into turn 9 last time around. Not going to be able to do it this time, and indeed has to be checking in the rearview mirror. And I say that these karts obviously don't have rearview mirrors. Just use the part of speech.
Shermer's going on the inside right there and just booked it in. Sorry,
and that's exactly what I was worried about there for Kennedy, was that she didn't get the best run coming out of 9 and into 10. Shermer able to make the move.
Yeah, I don't know if she just went out with too high air pressures or just not comfortable in the kart right this second, but she needs to watch out because there's a freight train of karts right behind her.
Yeah, there really are. She holds on to that fourth place position. Looks like she's starting to put a little bit of pressure, but she's got to watch out as that's Vanchev trying to make a move down to the inside, and Vanchev gets it done. Sarah Bradley going the wrong way early on.
That was just a good move by Vanchev. It was hard to defend that. She was trying to make a move on Shermer in front of her, and then next thing you know, you look inside thinking that not a cart's going to be there, and guess what? There's a cart there.
Yeah, it just kind of pops out of the middle of nowhere, and that'll definitely be a little bit of a scare tactic almost. Cole Medeiros, though, starting to pull a good advantage here, almost a full second. Behind this pack, my goodness, there's a lot of scraping. Contact, and almost around went one of the drivers. I think that was around 6th or 7th. So
and
that
it's still going on, too.
Yeah, it would have been. That's going to be around Fianchy or maybe Cordero.
Yeah, and who was that? Was that just Shermer that just got all over that curb right there? Upset the cart pretty bad, but... All right, let's see if Bradley can settle in here.
That was indeed Fianchy that we saw get very, very slideways coming down into turn 10. Lucky that Fionn was able to hold on to that. They're going to keep pushing ahead here as this battle for P3 looking like one of the better ones on track. That's going to be Shermer, Vanchev, and Bradley.
Yeah, Medeiros is just kind of continuing on with what he normally has done, is just kind of lead this pack here. Stay smooth. Don't make a mistake.
Yeah, and remember the finishing results from last time around is Bradley's going to try to take a look down into the inside. There she goes. She gets the position back on Vanchev.
Little payback right there.
Exact same corner, exact same position. This may be a situation where that cart starting to feel a little bit better. Maybe Sarah gaining a little bit more confidence here as we tick down under 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, settling in a little bit. You know, those first couple racing laps, you haven't really been racing much up until today, so... you're out there practicing. You give a little bit when you practice. You're not expecting someone to make a move like Vanchev did on you, going into 10 right there. So now it takes a little bit to get settled back in like race mode from like practice or qualifying mode.
Yeah, it's a different mentality to try to do it. You sometimes have to sort of retrain yourself to be ready to fight wheel to wheel. But Bradley able to get it done and able to start pushing ahead here a little bit more. She's got a little bit of a run here, closing down on Shermer. A top 3 may not be out of the cards here for Sarah Bradley. I wonder if she's going to be able to catch Kennedy and Medeiros. They looking to be a little bit of a league unto themselves.
Yeah, they sure do. And I'm just kind of looking at, last race results we had, and where's our Victor at that we had? Where's the Allen car this week? Not here.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they are, but still a lot of familiar names here. And as we look back to those results, we have to remember Medeiros had a penalty, and that's what put him down the order a little bit. But here comes Bradley. Big move down to the inside of Shermer. Gets it done. That 258 cart starting to feel good.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's good to see that. And I think she learned something from Vanchev in 10. Like, hey, she just picked off 2 carts right there.
Well, it's what we talked about earlier in the 206 category. Sometimes if you just trail behind that cart in front of you, kind of learn the line a little bit, you'll be able to learn a few things. And Bradley certainly did. She set the fastest lap out of anybody on that last time of asking.
Absolutely. And I don't know if she's got enough time to get up there and catch Shermer or Kennedy, but we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll see. She's got clean air in front of her right now, and there may be a battle taking place as Vanchev looked like for a second coming down into the braking zone for turn 13 that he and Shermer were going to maybe start to duke it out a little bit, but this battle for P3 still very alive. Let's keep an eye here on Shermer. We saw Vanchev send a big move down into turn 5. Not seeing it this time around. They'll stay in single file order.
Yeah, and they need to. I mean, there's 2.5 minutes left to go plus the 2, so... I don't think they got. I mean, you have Kennedy just set fastest lap of the race. I mean, I don't know if that trio right there is going to be able to catch P2. Right now you just try to keep yourself clean, and if an opportunity opens up for you to take a pass, and you make the pass.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's definitely the mentality to start getting into here at this point. You don't want to throw away a good result to think about getting a better one. The good result is just fine.
A DNF does you no good here.
Exactly.
And damage on a go-kart, your mechanic doesn't want to go put a new axle on a go-kart right now. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. So be smart about it. One position isn't going to make or break you in the final.
Well, and you can take this as a learning experience. We talked about learning those lines from the drivers in front of you. Oh, coming together. That's the 299 and the 240. That is a big, big hit with the two of them. That is not what you want to see.
No, I'm trying to figure out who that is. 290 and 240. That's Miller and Hernandez.
Okay. Well, thankfully they're Looking like they are, I'm not sure if they were able to get restarted there and pulled back around or what exactly happened, but definitely a little bit of a hooey moment.
Yeah, it looks like Sarah's stepping out a little bit here. That definitely got the cart working much better now than it was earlier in the race. And, definitely that's probably something that's mentally and also cart-wise, they probably had it set to run a little bit better down longer run in the race, but she's also got herself settled in.
We may not be done with the battle up at the front of the field. Edward Kennedy just set the fastest lap of the race in the 269 cart. That's going to bring that gap under a second between themselves and Cole Medeiros. So this could be looking a little interesting before everything's said and done.
Yeah, Medeiros has got to make a mistake. I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to see Kennedy get up on his back bumper. But, what do we got? We're going to have 2 laps to go probably by the time we get around here. So I don't think there's enough time there. And Kennedy, the same thing. You just kind of learn your lines, maybe see if you can catch what Medeiros is doing a little bit differently just for, the second heat. Find passing areas, opportunities.
Exactly. See where your cart's working good. Think about maybe where's that sneaky move I could send to 1. Is that going to be 3 laps?
3 laps to go.
All right. So this is some good news. Well, I would say it's good news for Edward Kennedy, but Medeiros responded, brought that gap back up to 110.
Yep.
All right, here, a little bit of contact there farther back in the field. We're going to follow this right now. That's the 206 cart. That's Vanchev and Cordero. Cordero's been able to catch on to the back of this. Where did he come from in that 225?
Yeah, I think it's more like Vanchev went back to him.
No, excuse me, that's Shermer.
Oh, that's Shermer? Okay.
Yeah, they swapped positions around. Yeah, that's Sarah right in front of him. That's Vanchev and Shermer. That's the 205 and the 206.
Yeah, we got to pay better attention.
Maybe a little bit.
We'll get it, folks.
No, that's just a quick switch around there. We were looking elsewhere.
And Shermer, yeah. I was like, where did Cordero come from? Like, they've been pretty checked out, that top 4, so. Or 5. Yeah, Shermer's in 5th. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, no, it was 2 laps. It was 2 laps to go. White flag is in the air, so a little bit of a change around there. Keep our eyes focused on this battle between Vanchev and Shermer. Vanchev pulling away a little bit to the tune of about 0.2 of a second, but Shermer can still try to close on in. He's got to be relatively happy, though, here. Does Jose Shermer is top 5, nothing to shake a stick at.
Oh, not with that. Not with this field. It's a pretty stacked field. You got a bunch of talent in there, and the qualifying wasn't that far off from each other, so that's pretty good. And Sarah did great battling herself back. I thought for sure that she was going to get caught up in that freight train coming behind her, but, she's a pro.
Yeah, really did a fantastic job to be able to close down that gap. Here comes a little bit of a move, but up at the front of the field, Medeiros takes victory over Kennedy, over Bradley. Vanchev is going to be able to hold off the attacks of Shermer, Cordero, Fionchi, and Dupuis round out your top 8. Nathan Dupuis doing what he did last time around, just continually gaining a few positions now and again, moving his way up. Keep an eye on that 241. That's my dark horse here for ROK GP Juniors.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cordero, who dropped 4 spots there. So was it some change they made in the cart that caused it, or did he just kind of get shuffled up and just lost in Never Land without a draft?
Yeah, maybe could be a little bit of column A, could be a little bit of column B. We do want to take this time to thank PSL Karting, our official sponsor here of ROK GP Junior, as well as our sponsor for our next round, which is ROK GP Pro, Velocity Racing. Thank you so much for coming on board and giving us that opportunity to be able to go racing here at the Orlando Kart Center for round 2 of the Florida Winter Tour. Going to take another quick break away from you here at this point. We've got a couple of karts we need to clean up out on the track. But again, stay with us as Velocity Racing presents the ROK GP Pro Heat 1 coming up soon.
27 years ago, Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters, and as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became 2, and the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato O'Ward, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Welcome, Jason Years back here with Rock Cup USA. We have Gavin Bailiff here. We thought we'd get a nice little interview with Gavin. With the Trinity Karting Group, I've known you guys for a long time. I'm from the Midwest, from Indiana. You guys are from Ohio, so I see you guys all over the place. And, one thing that shocked me this year was change of chassis brands, and it was late in the season change chassis brands. So kind of wanted to get your input on how a team like you guys completely changed strategies by going with a completely new chassis.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of work that goes into it back home. Obviously,
welcome back to Rock Cup's Florida Winter Tour Round 2 at the Orlando Kart Center as ROK GP Pro, presented by Velocity Racing, gets ready to take to the track. Last time out, it was Nicholas Fuca that stood on top of the podium, but we've got some good names and some familiar names. Blake Nash, Caden McQueen, Dale Carr, all ready to head out onto the circuit. This one's going to be interesting. A little bit more horsepower, a little bit more get up and go, and a little bit older drivers ready to take to the track for this ROK GP Pro Series.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. They're coming off of last week as well with Scusa here running a similar engine package for them. Cade McQueen podiumed last week, so we'll see what we can do here. Qualified P2 here. It is interesting. Fuca's not here. So what does that do to everyone else? We got Blake Nash didn't run last time. Now he's here. Put it on P1. It's interesting to see the different karts. Obviously, some people aren't going for a championship. They're just going for races and wins. And that's how I always drove. I didn't like to be pinned down with certain series and championships. I like to be able to kind of go where I want to race at times. And that's the nice thing about karting. You can come here and Nash comes from a huge team, which is great. He's got the data from the team from previous weeks. So, being able to come in here, you're not kind of being behind the 8 ball by showing up. You pretty much have it dialed in.
Yeah, but we're going to see a very interesting battle here, I think, between Nash and Caden McQueen. Nash looked pretty untouchable when we saw him a couple of weeks ago, but McQueen has a lot of speed in him. And Victor De Alencar also going to be one to watch out for. Diego Ardiles also going to be one as they get into the acceleration zone. Green flag in the air. We are racing again, but not without a little bit of contact coming down into turn 1.
A little aggressive right there. Who was that? De Alencar right there?
I think it was McQueen, De Alencar, and Nash all kind of just saying hello to each other down into turn 1. Big gap starting to form between third and second right now. It's a breakaway with Nash and McQueen up at the front of the field.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was interesting. If you look at the qualifying, though, you had, McQueen, De Alencar, and Ingrata were all a 7.0, 7.0, and a 7.1 with Ardiles at a 7.6. So you have 2, 3, and 4 right there within, a couple hundredths of a second of each other.
Yeah, you really do. Couple of drivers starting to poke their head a little bit forward. I think a little bit of hand gesturing there going on among a few of them as they came down through the last couple of corners there on the exit of turn 10. Blake Nash going to come across the line right now to lead the way. De Alencar, Ardiles, not to the surprise of no one there.
No.
Going to move his way up into third. I am surprised Caden McQueen was jumped down to 4th. Pardon about that. That is De Alencar that is up into 2nd.
I think that has to do with that being on the outside line. Mm-hmm. That outside line going into 1 is, unless you can get tucked down in, you're going to lose a couple spots, wet or dry.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've seen over the course of any running is that outside line, no real camber on it, so it's not like you're able to roll speed through the corner. It's very, very tough to try to go. But I'm impressed here with Nash and DeAlencar. They're starting to pull away here. The gap is over a second between Ardiles and McQueen. Aiden and Grata, Questo, Karai, and Caraval also trying to hold on in there, although they're a little bit more spread out the farther back in the field you go.
Yeah, it's a long race still, so we still have 8 minutes to plus 2. So we'll see who's got their carts set up for a mid-race run and who set them up early.
Looks like problems farther back down in the field for Carlos Caldera as that number 301 has fallen down the order into 15th. We check out the 393 for a second. That was Ardiles and McQueen. Now checking back in on the battle for the lead as Blake Nash continues to try to pull away from Victor DeAlencar.
Yeah, Blake's comfortable right now. Definitely got that cart dialed in. Pressure's right. See if he can hold on and see if the Alencar has anything for him.
Yeah, we'll see. Big duck down there for Ardiles. He knows exactly what he needs to try to do. Caden McQueen, though, trying to close in behind him. Those are the two drivers on your screen right now, and that is Ingrata kind of lurking in the background. A little bit of couplet behind them between Questo and Karai. So let's see what they're able to do. I think we've had one cart stopped out on track because I saw some yellow flags waving as they went by on the far end of the circuit.
Yeah, they're just all stretched out right now. Everyone's just minding their business, just waiting this hopefully the last 2-3 minutes of the race. Carts will start coming in. We'll start seeing some carts catch up to each other. Maybe see a little train design here and see if they can. I don't know. Man, Nash is just looking good out there right now.
Yeah, 0.7 of a second, the gap here, not even at halfway yet, starting to stretch that out. And this is a little bit of what we saw. There's that tape, by the way, what we saw earlier of kind of taking that tape off the radiator, letting it go. That's what Blake Nash just did, recognizing that the heat in the engine's starting to build up a little bit more. You want to now cool it a little bit more than you already did. It's battle for P3, though. This is, I think, where the action's going to be. Ardiles, McQueen, and Ingrata in a triplet right now.
Yeah, I think the other thing we need to point out, it's been warm here in Florida.
It has.
Today's a little chillier, like a little overcast. I mean, yesterday was hot. You know, we were doing some interviews. You'll see it. I wasn't nervous doing my interviews. That's why I wasn't sweating. I was sweating because it was hot and humid. And, you know, a Midwestern guy coming down to Florida in the wintertime, my body's just not acclimated to yet the heat. So it was warming. But today is a little more windy, a little bit chillier. So that does change the cart sets up a little bit for them. So, you know, you're going to see some guys probably over-taping those radiators, thinking they're not going to get the heat in it. Then they're going to pull the tape off as the race progresses.
That was a great move, by the way, by Caden McQueen. That sneaky maneuver down into turn number 9, able to get the run on the 393 of Ardiles, and he is now going to try to pull away in that 395. That's exactly what you'd expect from a driver who qualified P2, but Ardiles not letting him go, and Aiden and Grata going to hold on to the back and see if he can pick up the pieces.
Yeah, let's just see if they're going to work together first. Like, I mean, a lot of racing left. Work together, see if he can do anything to catch the Alencar.
Yeah, that's going to be the question. That gap, though, is about 1.7 seconds, so that's a lot to try to make up here. And it does look like, though, through the second half of the track, coming down through 6, 7, and 8, that McQueen has started to build a gap. And again, a sneaky maneuver. This time, Aiden and Grata able to send one on
move.
Ardiles.
I saw him set that up a couple corners ahead of time.
Ardiles fights back, tries to get him into 10, and it looks like he's got him right back.
Yep. Great racing right there.
Yeah, that's really good heads up. Again, that kind of sportsmanship that we talk about, the two of them really working together, not working together, but being cognizant of it. As there you see that 393 of Ardiles taking a little bit of tape off that radiator.
Yeah, let's just see if they're going to sit there and continue battling like that. See what happened right there. You look at McQueen just as they're sitting there battling. And it's just going to let McQueen just check out just a little bit more.
And that was Ingrata sending a move up through turn 5, able to get it done there. He'll pull ahead right now and try to close on in a little bit more on the back of Caden McQueen. But McQueen fully checked out into the distance here. The young Briton really doing a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting there looking at the qualifying runs, and Ingrata, and they were within like 100th of each other. So their pace is almost exactly the same. So it's just like, who is the one that has the minimal amount of mistakes?
Exactly. It's all about that. But look at this. Eric Questo starting to close in on the back of this battle for 4th place between Ardiles and Ingrata. As Questo in the 300, that blue cart that you see in the back of your shot, courtesy of this battling, been able to close it up.
Yep, and McQueen has just been able to check it out. And he was 0.2 faster than DeAlencar that time. But then you had Nash who just went purple.
Yeah. Nash doing Nash things up at the front of the field. A 52.73. Very impressive there for Nash.
Yeah, it's a good run. What did he qualify at? 52.46. So little, race prep. Going to be a little slower, but let's see what's going on here so far. So we have Nash, DeAlencar, McQueen, and Grada, Ardiles, Cuesto, Carvajal. Top 7 right there.
Yeah, Pierce Jaso, another driver that is new that we did not see last time around. Dominic Karai, as it looks like Karai's actually been able to get by Jaso, and then Eugenin rounds out your top 10. I think we've had problems here for Caldera. We mentioned that one a little bit earlier. Christopher Guerum just looking very off the pace here, back in 14th.
Yeah, I don't see Caldera on the track anywhere. He must have pulled in. Yeah, I don't see him.
Yeah, not sure, but he's listed as 7 laps down here, so that is almost for certain
off-track
problem that happened to him. We keep our eyes here on that 5-3. I believe that's in Grada in 4th place. Excuse me, the 55, the 355. He's going to try to gain a little bit of an advantage here, but Caden McQueen opened up that gap here. He is not letting it go, but McQueen is starting to reel into Alencar. That gap's down to 1.2. This may not be done yet with 1:45 left to go, plus 2 laps.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 0.2 faster. I mean, my math gives me 0.6 makeup. I wasn't that great in math.
No.
Old math, not new math like
Never,
kids have these days.
Never trust a commentator's math.
No. All right, what else? Any battles on lower down the field here?
Everybody's pretty well spread out here at this point. This is really about minimizing mistakes, trying to see where it is. There's Blake Nash, your leader. Again, his gap about 2.3 seconds up at the front of the field over Victor DeAlencar.
Yeah, dominant performance right now. The question is he going to be able to hold this throughout?
Oh, something's happened to Ardiles. He's falling down through the order. Trying to see if we can get a read on exactly what happened there to Ardiles, but he is plummeting down through the order. I've got to think that is an off or an error of some kind there for the driver of the 393.
Yeah, I don't see anybody off track. He might have just pulled in.
All right, Blake Nash piloting his 324 down through turn 11. This should be 3 laps to go for Nash at the line. Quick surreptitious glance behind him to make sure. Let's look at that gap. Almost exactly the same, 2.32.
Yeah, but what's happening is McQueen is eating into D'Alencar's.
Yep.
It's sitting there. He's 0.2 quicker every single lap. He's going to run out of time, but he's going to be right there. I mean, he's going to be almost on his bumper by the time the checkered flags.
Yeah, and I wonder if that draft could maybe come into play ever so slightly, just give him that extra oomph that he needs. And this, folks, is going to be the corner to watch on that final lap coming down into turn 9 through turn 8. That has been the area that McQueen has been able to send that sneaky move. We were so impressed last time out when Sarah Bradley was able to do that for the first time. And now this time around, watch McQueen go for it, because I think you're right. I think he may be able to get just close enough.
Oh,
2 to go at the line.
Yeah, and I think McQueen's tasting it too. Like, he can smell it.
Yeah, the gap's down to 0.6 of a second.
Yep, 2 laps to go. He's going to, you can definitely know that D'Alencar knows he's behind him. So is that going to make D'Alencar push so hard he's going to make a mistake?
Now, I just took a big glance behind him on the straightaway coming into turn 5, so he's definitely keeping abreast of that. As they try to go right now, pushing their way on through.
Visually, he's closing the gap.
Yeah, he really, really is. This is probably McQueen's strongest corner through 9. Gap looks like it's about 3, maybe 4 kart lengths. Call it 2.
Yeah,
coming down
a great
into
run
10.
off of 9 into 10.
Yeah. All right, they're going to be coming to the white flag this time by, so 1 lap to go here for Blake Nash, but most crucially, only 1 lap to go for Dale.
Oh, what happened there?
Almost looked like he let him by.
I bet you he does not want that outside line.
That's a good call. That's a really good call, Jason.
Yeah, because he definitely let him by, or he wants to see his racing line.
What we've been talking about really this whole broadcast of learning, that's a lot of what you can do in these heats, and just learning and waiting, trying to figure out what he's able to get.
Yeah, if I'm the queen here, I'm not running my racing line right now.
No.
I'm running some different lines so he can't see what I have.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be a little bit cagey here at this point. And try
now, what if he steps off to the side and lets the Allen car back around him right at the finish line?
I mean, they've got 2 seconds back to Ingrata, so it's certainly possible. But here they go. Blake Nash, dominance here in the GP Pro Series. McQueen not going to back off. He'll hold on to P2. Victor DeAlencar in P3. And Grata crosses over for P4. And Eric Cuesto will round out your top 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the racings has, the same theme right now. Leaders checking out, the battles in the field.
Yeah, it really is. And this is presenting interesting stuff because I think, we keep kind of talking about this. We keep kind of harping on this a little bit. But this could be a situation where a lot of these drivers are just watching and waiting, learning those lines. And if that's the case, this could get more and more interesting as time goes along.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. I'm just curious what happened to to some of the, Caldera, what happened to Ardiles, what happened to those two?
Yeah, Ardiles, I'm very, very interested to see what he's gonna, what happened there with that. He had the pace early on, and we know he had the pace in the last running to be able to close on in.
He's somebody's name that we constantly talk about.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's see. So where we got up next? We got the ROK Minis.
Yeah, presented by AM Engines. Very excited to bring that to you here as we get ready to switch on over into it. As
we've got Kart pickup out there right now. So there must have been. I didn't see anybody out there, but interesting.
Yeah. All right. We are, there is your AM Engines tag, but we are going to take another quick break away from the microphone. We'll be back with you after we pay these bills.
27 years ago, Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters. And as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became 2. And the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato Award, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America, and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Someone to watch.
Welcome back to the ROK Cup Florida Winter Tour Round 2 at the Orlando Kart Center. As you can see, karts making their way out on track. It's time for ROK Mini, presented by AM Engines. And we were just talking about this off air. For me, yes, big stories up in front here as Cooper Lopez will be leading this field around to green. But I really think that the big story here is Cameron Johnson starting in 11th position, Jason.
Yeah, I stopped by their pits and talked to them a little bit earlier because I know his engineer, Jason Bertzel, pretty well, and they're just struggling a little bit right now. They ended up second last week at SCUSA. They won the last Florida Winter Tour. They're just trying to find some pace, and let's see if maybe they figured out something from qualifying because Cameron's starting 11th.
Yeah, this is going to be a big hill to climb for Cameron, but I've got to say, if anybody's going to be able to do it, it could potentially be this FMS driver in that Merlin chassis. Going to have to see what they're able to do. I mean, we know they've got speed, as you said, able to take the victory in round 1 of the Florida Winter Tour. This could be interesting.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I mean, the difference between, 11th and, first, pole position is minimal. I mean, you're within less than a second. And that could be the difference between you getting a nice little push down a straightaway or not getting the push and being stranded all alone while you're out there doing qualifying. So, I'm sitting here getting lined up. Got to slow it down, boys. We got some carts way back here still trying to catch up to you. So
there's that looks like the 141 very, very off the pace here. We may have a aborted start just because of the time it's going to take for that cart to catch back up. That's a great view on your screen of everybody still trying to close on in and get in time.
Yeah, we got Orioli here also. So, ended up second on the podium last time. Also, remember, the last time the track was wet.
It was.
So we ran all the mains last event last month under rain conditions. So we always thought it's a great equalizer. But now we're on a dry track, so we'll see if Cameron can get his cart rolling.
All right, Cooper Lorenzo Lopez brings us around to the green flag. That's going to be a.
I don't know what he was doing there. Yeah. He didn't get down in position before the commitment cone. So. Yeah, that was
odd.
Yeah.
Very odd, to say the least.
That's something I would do.
All right, learning a few things about my co-commentator up here in the booth and how he likes to drive. I gotcha.
All right.
All right, so
redo.
Yeah, we're going to try that again.
I mean, he had 2/10 faster on his qualifying than Francisco here, so... Definitely has a fast cart.
Yeah, it's Cooper Lorenzo Lopez, as we said, up in the front in that all-red cart. Santiago Orioli is going to be starting in P4.
Yeah, I mean, Lopez, just missed the podium last event. Ended up 5th. So he definitely has the pace there. Much better.
All right, this looks a little bit more neat and orderly here from these carters as they're going to bring their way on through. Jaden Francisco, by the way, in that other red cart that you see up in the front. Couple of hand signals there as everybody gets themselves formed up. Looks like we've got a problem with somebody farther back, a stall or something like that, as that's going to throw things off.
Yeah, sitting there and just trying to get, I bet you anything they're going so slow that he's trying to get his cart to fire it. It's just flooded.
Yeah.
Loaded up.
That's the 156. That's, I believe, Robert Tronchi Jr. Trying to give it a little bit of a kickstart. All right, we're going to try this again. There, they got it going. That's good to see for Tronchi.
They're just going to let him go anyway. Yeah, I mean, that's...
All right, green flag in the air. Very, very aggressive. And they're going to get going. Tronchi Jr. is going to have a lot of work to do to try to catch up to the rest of this field, but it is going to be your leader here at this point. Cooper Lorenzo Lopez will lead them around. I can't tell. Francisco looks like he's been shuffled back to P3.
Yeah, he's got the CRG up front. Let's see if he can just continue doing what we've seen all day as the leader's just kind of checking out, being on an island of their own.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to catch it back up right now. Francisco looks like he has been shuffled down to P2. I think that is Scheinenberg that was able to get P2 away from Francisco. So let's see as they go. Not sure where Santiago Orioli was able to get back on, but it does look like Cooper Lorenzo Lopez is going to hold on to that lead as they come down 3-cart breakaway up at the front of the field.
Yeah, let's see what happens when they come across the line. Get a little update here, and let's see where Cameron Johnson ends up at.
Big move here from Jaden Francisco, trying to get to the inside of Scheinenberger. It was actually Scheinenberg that was able to get that run. He's got it now. Good move there from Jaden Francisco up into P2.
Yeah, but look what happened there. I don't know where Lopez ended up getting that checkout from, but Next thing I know, I look and got about a 6-cart length lead.
Well, I think that was just courtesy going side by side through turn 1 for Scheinenberg and for Francisco. Orioli has been able to hold on to P4 as it does look like Cameron Johnson's gained a position up to P10. Would have expected a little bit more off at the start.
Yeah, patience. Now you start picking them apart.
Yeah, there you go. A couple of moves farther back in the field there. That's going to be for about 4th or 5th position around Orioli, Pavin, and Salazar. Alex Chandler, they're going to sort themselves into single file order as they make their way out of turn 10 right now. Coming down through 11 and 12. Lorenzo Lopez just starting to cruise up at the front of the field, but the battle definitely on between Francisco and Scheinenberg as here they go. Look at this side by side farther back in the order. Salazar, Orioli, Chandler, and Pavon.
Yeah, that's going to end up being a nice battle for 4th. It's going to end up being about 6 carts here in a minute.
Yeah, it is. Orioli took a big look on the inside of Nico Salazar coming down into turn 5. Didn't play out for him. Had to get out of it. There's the battle for P2 right now. Scheinenberg trying to be able to get that run on Jaden Francisco. Here's that battle we were watching. It's Salazar, Orioli, Chandler, Pavon, Kanash, and Perman and Johnson, your top 10. That's where all that movement is. Look at this. 2 wide coming down into turn 10 right now, and that's going to be a nice little 2-for-1 move. That was the 126 of Kanash. I think that was 2 moves on Alex Chandler.
Oh, another move right there. Just slinging it in.
Yeah, they are really slicing and dicing here. A little bit of a move maybe back for P4 as that's starting to break out a little bit. Chandler up ahead into P5. The positions are changing so quickly we can hardly keep up with it here at this point. 106 of Orioli's now been shuffled all the way back down in the order. He's having to defend for Pavon. Almost 3 wide coming into 9. How they are into 5. How they didn't make contact, I'll never know. 1 cart off into the grass.
Some great battling there just halfway through.
Are going to try to sort themselves out a little bit, coming down into 8 and 9. There's that little sneak attack move that we've seen coming into 9 right now. It's going to play out. Big defensive line.
There is some. This is going to get good.
Yeah, this is going to get very
really
spicy. That's the 125. Maybe the 126. I think that may have been Canilla Kanash that was able to move her way up forward and lead this little pack. That'll be an improvement there from Kanashe, from 8th position. Chandler has moved up into 4th with the fastest lap of the race. Kanashe indeed has been able to move her way up forward ahead of the 102 of Lawrence Perman and Perriman, and now Cameron Johnson up into 9th, scoping out this battle. Johnson gets into the back there of Perriman, gives him a little bit of a shove forward, trying to be able to get by Kanashe.
Yep, it's absolutely not given just enough room.
Yeah,
but just not too much.
And now look at this, the 154 of Pavon going to try to send a move up to the inside, and Johnson gets it done, coming into 7. Oh, big check up on the bumper there from the 154. Got to be careful about that. You don't want to get that bumper pushed down, and it looks like we may have one pushed down already.
Yeah, it definitely looks like who's in that P2 spot right there. Not P2, but that second spot.
I think that's Perriman.
126. Kanash.
Oh, is it Kanash?
Yeah.
Or Kanashe?
That's definitely, it might be a partial, but we'll see.
They're going to work their way through the corner right now. Side by side farther back, I think that's around Besseril and Stiles. Up at the front of the field, Perriman's been able to kind of break away a little bit. Holding off an attack here from Kanashe, Pavon, and Johnson. That's that group of 4 that we watch right now.
Oh, and Johnson so wanted Pavon to go on the inside just to tag along with him. That did not happen.
Yeah, decided not to go for it. The 126 of Kanashe going to try to keep pushing ahead right now. There's, whoa, big slide there. Is that going to open it up in a door here for Pavon? I think it is, and not able to get it done. Kanashe is going to stay in front.
All right, is Johnson going to go with Pavon? Late second move.
Gets it. Can Johnson go for a 2-for-1? No, he's only going to get 1 position out of it. All right, there's the front of the field right now. It's still Lorenzo Lopez, Francisco Chandler, Salazar, and Scheinenberg. Now as they come across the line right now, Perriman, Pavon, Johnson, Kanashe, Stiles, Klein, Besseril, Park. Tronchi Jr., look at that, up into 15th already.
I've been watching it.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing for him, had a nice run going in, and you have a bunch of carts together, so they're not at full pace, and he's running at full song coming into him.
Yeah.
You're going to catch the group pretty quick. So, yeah, good job for him. And plus keeping your mindset going, knowing that, okay, I can pick my way through this field.
Exactly. Very heads up, very good way to do it. This is the front of the field right now. Lorenzo Lopez, Jaden Francisco not letting Lorenzo Lopez sneak off into the distance. I like this. This could be a little bit of a battle. It's only about 0.7 of a second, the difference between the two.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, they're going to keep trying to go here at this point. Let's see what the gap is as they cross over the line. I wonder if Francisco's been able to close it down. No, Lorenzo Lopez has actually grown it by about 0.03 of a second, so that's up to about 0.72 of a second. Perriman's been able to get a move on Orioli up into 6th. That may be the end of the road. 3 seconds to try to close down up to Schenenberg with only about 40 seconds left on the clock. That should be 2 to go at the line.
Yeah, I mean, our battle right now is that battle right there for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's within, 0.3 of each other?
Yeah, it's very, very close. There's the battle for P3. This is Nico Salazar trailing behind Alex Chandler in that white cart that you see.
Little nose damage right there on
Yeah,
Chandler's
I caught that
cart,
too.
But yeah, it doesn't look like a pushdown effect there, but definitely a little arrow effect.
It just looks like there's a divot right on the nose, which would be indicative of that. 4, 2, 1. This should be the 2 to go signal at the line. Yes, it is. All right, there's Alex Chandler still holding off Nico Salazar. There is Lopez. Francisco able to bring it back down again. That gap down under 0.7 of a second at the last time of asking.
Yep, Johnson's moved up to 8th. Where is Tronchi's at 14th, so good job for that kid. That's awesome.
That's impressive there from Tronchi. And unfortunately, timing and scoring is going to rank him as only gaining 1 position over the course of the race, but we both know that's not true.
Yeah.
That was multiple positions gained. That's a really impressive drive from Robert Tronchi Jr.
Yep, absolutely, and good pace too. He's not far off, so it's hard to battle through a field like that and get a good rhythm that you need to get because he is a little bit faster than some of those cars that he's around. So constantly being patient, but good for him.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go for your drivers, and the battle is on between Nico Salazar and Alex Chandler. Salazar, a more interior line coming through 1 and 2, trying to push that ahead as much as possible. Are we going to have a little bit of a look into turn 5? Yes, we are. Contact. Salazar says, that's my spot. I want the podium.
Yeah, that was a great move. But good move on Chandler, too. Chandler just noticed it, and instead of trying to continue that corner to make contact, kind of just steered out of it. Kind of being a veteran move there. It's like, what's 1 position? It's not worth being a DNF.
Exactly, and that's often what we talk about in these heat races. It's better to lose that 1 position than to absolutely come up with nothing. And it looks like they're going to be able to hold ahead. Cooper Lorenzo Lopez, though, up at the front of the field. Coming around to the checkered flag. There you see it. Making their way out of the final corners now. Checkered flag in the air. Francisco willing that cart
He
forward.
closed a lot that lap. I don't know if Lopez was on a parade lap there or a victory lap on that last lap, but Francisco definitely closed a ton. All right, this is going to be interesting right here. Where's this at?
Johnson up into 7th.
Good
Canachet
run
into
for him.
8th. Pavon 9th. And Styles 10th. That is a heck of a run to the line and a heck of a heat race here for ROK Mini powered by AM engines.
Oh, absolutely. Again, youngest still prevail.
Yep. Still some of the best out on the track that you are likely to see.
All right, we've got, a VLR Masters. So we go from one of the youngest to the oldest.
All right, here they go. ROK VLR Masters, powered by Rocket Racing Engines. Don't know if we have any cleanup on the track, so we may be able to move right on into this.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at one of our biggest fields, and there's no cleanup.
That's
Again, hats off to the kids. I know I talk about that a lot, but it's impressive. It goes down to, when we ran around and interviewed some of the teams, the coaches, and what the coaches do for their kids. it's great. And racecraft is big, and when I talk to like Ryan Norberg about this stuff, because that's one of the main things that they do is really just getting the kids in the right mindset and teaching them right racecraft.
Well, and that's what you really have to do. I mean, we said it before, we'll say it again. It's really a matter of making sure that you carry on these good habits, because if you gain these habits here in karting, they're just going to transfer up, whether you go into your higher on series, whether it's formula cars, whether you keep on karting, really whatever it is, it's great.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm trying to pull up. I swear I thought. Yeah, so I was just pulling up the last round 1 for the VLR Masters here, which, Falcone. We knew Falcone won that in the rain. But he's got a little more competition this week. There's some new names up here on this VLR Masters, and I personally have ran with a couple of them, and our pole sitter, Mardan here, definitely is he's fast.
Well, and let's not forget, we were talking about this a little bit off air. Alexander Delbon, certainly one to watch out for. Remember, there was a relatively big coming together in that opening round, that opening final here for VLR Masters. And so to have this take place again, I got to be keeping my eye here on Alexander Delbon.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's one to reckon for. And it's from qualifying, Mardan's got a pretty good margin of time there. So I think our battle's definitely going to be for 2-3.
Yeah, I
for
think
the rest
you're
of the
right.
podium.
I think you're right, but we'll have to wait and see exactly how this is all going to shake itself out here. Only 3 races to go in all the VLR categories. It's going to be Masters, followed by Junior, followed by Senior here. So we're very excited to be able to bring you that racing action. Sounds like they're going to be headed out onto the track momentarily. There they are. We thought they'd be coming. And indeed, they are. Elefante, another driver to keep an eye on. Falcone only starting in 6th. He's going to have a lot of work to do to try to close this back down on the field.
I'm telling you right now, Falcone's just got to be tired.
Yeah.
I watch karting, and I watch a lot of events, and 2 weeks ago, he was in Arizona running with Coda. Last week, he was running with Scusa. I heard he took a little R&R and went to Mexico for a little bit. Now he's back here running with us again here. So a lot of racing for that guy. And, he won at Coda. Great for him. Where did he end up last week in Scusa? Let me look here.
All right, well, we check that out. The VLR Masters are making their way around right now. Everybody bringing those carts up to speed, up to temperatures. We see one of the smaller classes that we have here, but definitely going to be action-packed all the way through. Jumping back up to 10 minutes plus 2 laps. Just a point of note there.
Yeah, Falcone ended up 8th last weekend, so we'll see what he can do this week. Get on here. I mean, Mardan is an Illinois, Chicago, I believe, from Chicago. He's the only techno kart importer in the United States, which is a really cool kart. Some of the geometry on that go-kart's pretty interesting. But he's done a great job at presenting that kart can win. But he's got a bunch of karts behind him that want to prove him wrong.
Yeah, Delbon, as I said, really one to watch out for here. Elefante, another one that I think we're going to have to keep an eye on. Calgaro, Mark Pavon, also one. And that gap's only a couple hundredths of a second between Mardan and Delbon.
Yeah, Elefante. I'd say someone you need to watch out to is also Christian Vermeer. He's Mardan's teammate, and Christian's a well-known kart racer throughout the world, and I'm surprised that he's back that far. So let's see if he maybe figured out something with that kart.
Oh, big move in the middle there as they tried to get themselves going. 10 minutes on the clock, and we are officially racing. Mardan is going to lead the way. The 729 of Delbon gonna send a move around the outside. Car off into the barriers.
704 of Calgaro. Oh, and 721?
Yeah, it's the 721 kart there as well. That's Quinos.
I didn't see what happened there, so We'll blame that on the cameraman.
Nah, we've got some of the best cameramen in the business. Don't want to give them that too much. But Dalbon, Elefante going at it there. And it looks like Elefante going to be able to try to pull that away from Dalbon going down into turn number 10.
Yeah, I mean, Elefante's got something to prove here. You know, he finished second last week with Scusa, so we'll see if he can actually better that this week with us and put that on the top spot of the podium.
Here comes Pavin trying to make a move up into the inside there of Dalbon, but Dalbon fights back through turn 1. Good move from Alexander Dalbon. He'll hold on to that position, but that's really checked up the rest of the field here as everybody's scraping and scrambling, trying to find their way up ahead. This is a very fierce battle for P3, as I think that's Bernabu able to send a move and Kart off.
Who was that? Was that Christian Vermeer? I think he had a little help on that one.
I think he did too. That bumper definitely pushed down.
Yeah. Now this is the tightest racing we've seen so far for their lead.
Yeah.
You know, at least someone hasn't really checked out, and the rest of the group's kind of hanging out with them.
Yeah, Elefante definitely keeping the pressure here on Mardan. The gap was only about 0.7 of a second. Battle for P3 right now between Dalbon and Pavan. Or no, that's Bernabu. That's Bernabu.
And Falcone's moved up to 5th.
Yep.
No surprise there.
Yeah, Falcone just kind of slicing his way forward, getting a feel for it. Dalbon holding off over Bernabu. And there's that 329. That's Dalbon trying to give a little bit of a push on the 734 coming down the back straightaway. Is he going to send a little bit of a sneak attack into 9? No, he'll stay in line here for the moment.
All right, so I'm sitting here looking at I haven't really looked at the qualifying speeds.
Kart around. That's the 708. That's Elefante.
But I'm telling you right now, within 4/10, you have the top 8 karts.
This is going to be a close one.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know, Mardan was smart. He didn't have anybody to fight with, so he kind of just checked himself out. Elefante helped him.
Yeah.
Now he's just gapped him a little bit more, so we'll see if this trio right here is going to be able to kind of work with each other. Be smart. You're a master. Let's be smart. And see if you can put nope, never mind.
And Falcone tries to go for the 2-for-1. He's going to get himself ahead of Dalbon, but Lucas Bernabu not able to get that to go. Let's see. It's still going to be Bernabu able to hold on to the second place position here, courtesy of that off by Paul Elefante. That's going to promote this battle up into P2. So Lucas holds on to that second place position, and now Falcone has inserted himself into the conversation.
Did we see what happened to Elefante there?
I just saw him turned around the wrong way coming into turn 10. It looked like he was able to keep going.
And he was purple as well, so he's the only kart that's he was in the 57s by a lot.
He's quick. There's no question about it.
As I say, that Mardan just goes 57.9. But, yeah, definitely was fast. I don't know if was he close enough to Mardan to make – I wonder if he went in this a little too hot on the brakes. I didn't get a chance to see that. But.
No, I didn't see it either. Maybe just overshot the corner a little bit, got a little bit too much speed and over-rotated. But Falcone here definitely on the back of Lucas right now, trying to be able to get a little bit of pressure. But he's got to be careful. Overran coming into turn 6, overcommitted to that corner, and that's opened up the door here for Dalbon. Falcone's got to be careful. No, he doesn't get it into 9.
He doesn't like there. He's like, why are you racing me? Just push me.
That's one of the great things about karting here is you can see.
Oh,
Falcone!
And did he lose a spot?
He lost one to Dalbon, and that's Vormir that's able to get by him as well. So that'll demote Scott Falcone back down into 5th place.
See, Christian obviously got his kart rolling. I told you he was my guy to watch for.
Yep.
So, so Christian's got the kart rolling. What is his lap times right now? He's running consistent, 58.3, so a little bit slower than the leaders, but not too bad. But he's keeping his nose clean and not making mistakes.
No, certainly not. A little bit of a run behind there. I think that was Pavan and ROK maybe going side by side down into turn number 5.
Johnny Rock. That sounds like a cartoon character, doesn't it?
It sounds like that or a punk rocker.
Punk rock. My name's Johnny Rock. Well, today it's a go-kart race.
There you go.
I can't believe that Falcone dropped a tire there.
Very lucky that was not a bigger incident, the way he kind of speared across the
I don't
track.
think he's the only one as I'm looking at that corner. It's pretty chunked up over there. So
That was a big wiggle there from Lucas Bernabo. That looked very, very sketchy. He is holding on to that cart, and Alexander Delbon putting the pressure to the back of him here with 4 minutes left to go. He's not letting this go quietly.
no, I mean Delbon was fast. But I tell you what, still again, I am amazed at how close these carts are in speed and pace. I mean, they are very fast and within striking distance of each other.
Yeah, Laurencio Martin definitely checking out at the front of this field. That gap's about 2 seconds. Here comes Falcone, though, trying to get a run on Christian Vormier. This is down through 7 and 8, down into turn 9. Does Falcone get it done? Yes, he does! All right, Falcone now able to recover up into P4. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock there or thereabouts. Plus 2 laps. There may just be enough time for Scott Falcone to try to gain back up here on Delbon and Bernabo. But definitely, especially if these two start to battle a little bit, which it looks like they're going to.
Dude, I'd say Elefante just went purple again with a 57.4. 4/10 faster than anybody else on the track.
Big send for Alexander Delbon coming down into turn 5. Contact there with Bernabo. And
Bernabo's got either a broken tie rod or a bent steering shaft on that. I'll be curious to see if that's going to be an AC called by our race director or not.
I think that's actually Delbon that fell back through the order there. Bernabo able to hold on to that position up the front there. All right, now here comes Falcone fighting back on Delbon.
Did Delbon just say, have it, take it, and Christian just went right behind him and just rode with him.
Yeah, Johnny Ruck's starting to close in as well in that white cart behind that you see. Well, it doesn't look like there's too much damage there for Delbon. At least it's manageable, and he's able to keep relatively up to speed, holding on to the back here of Christian Vormier.
Yeah, who's the one that went off?
That was Delbon.
Oh, then he came back in? I thought he raised his hand and went off the track.
I thought he did too. He may have raised his hand, but he kept going.
Yeah, okay, well, good for him. And didn't lose too much. But I guarantee, I'm trying to see his steering wheel. If it's bent, you can usually tell because they've got the name on the cross top of the steering wheel. So if he's going in straightaway and you see chassis brand pointing towards the junkyard over there, you know you got a bent front steering wheel. It is.
And here comes Johnny Ruck down to the inside of Delbon. Delbon tries to fight him back. Yeah, that cart is struggling.
Yeah, he's doing what he can. You can definitely see the yellow turned on. So he's got either a steering shaft bent or a tie rod bent. But, hey, you know what? He's finishing here. He's probably going to end up with, 6th place, 7th place.
Well, Elefante
back up.
Elefante just got back by him there. I think a little bit of Delbon kind of letting him know that he's wounded, telling him to get back on by.
Yeah. Now, the question is who's behind Delbon? Is Pavon going to have enough time to catch Delbon and get around him?
Yeah, that's going to be the question here to see what'll happen. It's about 2 seconds right now, and they'll come to the line with 2 to go.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's going to be any words said between Delbon and Bonabu at the scale line.
Yeah, that was a little too elbows out for my taste, personally.
Yeah, it's right in front of us here, so I didn't get a chance to, we're looking at the screen. But, yeah, it looked, I don't know. We'll see if the race director saw anything ill on that one or not.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. This battle, though, that's Scott Falcone leading the way. Christian Vormier, the one with a bunch of action behind him. That's Johnny Ruck and Paul Elefante. Elefante, I've got to think, 3 laps to go at the line, by the way. Elefante sends a move down to the inside, gets it done. Elefante proving that despite facing the wrong way earlier in this race, he's got plenty of speed on that 708.
Dude, look at that. Again, matched his fastest lap time. If I'm somebody right now and I'm Ardan and I look at the timing and scoring, I'm concerned. Yeah, because you have a guy who completely spun. It's coming back and now setting, purple every single lap basically. So what do you got to do? You know you finished first, but you got a cart that's probably faster than you on the track. But again, is Mardan just sitting there
Is Mardan
clicking
holding
laps,
back
yeah,
a little bit because he's not under pressure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Elefante just got another position. He just got by Johnny Ruck, I believe, as we'll see them. Yep, there he goes in that purple and black cart.
Well, got around Christian Vermeer. Is what he
Oh,
got
it's
around.
Vermeer,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's got enough time to get at the Falcone or not with 2 laps to go, but he is definitely on a roll right now. And he's got some little bit of a clean track on him. Ooh, Christian was like, nope, I'll take that door.
Yeah, I left it open for him, but
And had the momentum.
yeah, was able to make it work around the outside here. Elefante's got the speed through this kind of technical section of the track down through 7, 8, and 9.
He's going to get up to Falcone.
The question's going to be is whether or not he can pass him.
Yeah. He's already there.
Yeah, he's already there. Ruck and Vormier behind them. White flag in the air for Lorenzo Mordan.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you see Falcone's being a little more defensive on that line.
Yep. Elefante just set the fastest lap of the race again.
7-2.
Oh, here comes Elefante down to the inside of Falcone. Falcone tries to fight back on him. Gets the momentum, but preferred line's going to go back to Elefante through turn 6. He has got it done. What a meteoric rise back up through the field for Paul Elefante.
Yeah, what a great run for him. Oh, you got a little loose right there,
Yeah.
I think. And I guarantee you Falcone was just like, and then, checked up on the brakes a little bit there.
Well, he's taking a little bit of a peek to the inside going into 10. He was a little far back, but just wanted to see if he could scare him off the line. Elefante's got to be Falcone's got to be a little bit scared here. If he gets too crazy, Johnny Ruck will pounce on him.
Yeah.
But coming to the line right now, Lorenzo Mordan will take victory. Lucas Bernabeu will come across in P2. And then it is Paul Elefante up and down and up again. Comes home P3.
Yeah, what a great run for him. Didn't get discouraged at all. Put his nose down, grinded it through, and it ended up, really only losing the spot because he was P2 when that happened. So good for him.
Yeah, good for him indeed. That was a very, very good running. Waiting to see if I see anybody there. All right, that will conclude ROK VLR Masters presented by Rocket Racing Engines. Next up, VLR Junior presented by Rollison Performance Group, RPG. Very excited to have them on board. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're very much ready for that. Again, we're going to take another quick break away from you, just kind of give ourselves a little bit of a moment to breathe, but we'll be back after these messages.
27 years ago, Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters. And as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became 2, and the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato Award, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Back.
We are back and ready to go racing here for the penultimate racing heat of the day. VLR Junior presented by RPG. Very, very interested to see how this is going to shake itself out. A bigger field of karts here ready to bring their way around. Just waiting for them to come on out of the staging area and get onto the track. It'll be another 10-minute plus 2 lap, and there they go. Everybody bringing their way on out. This one, always one of my favorites to be able to see.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, the one to watch is going to be Maddie Gray. Set P1 in qualifying. Did not finish round 1. So has something to prove here.
Yeah, she's really got something to prove. Behind her will be Katowski, Martin, Yao, and Landry, your top 5. Jackson Elefante.
See if he can roll off of his dad's speed here.
I was going to say, maybe his dad.
Assuming it's his dad. Could be an uncle. I don't know.
All right, well, let's just hope there's some family conversations going on of where to roll that speed. But, yeah, I think Maddie's going to be one to watch out for here. Definitely able to set a very, very quick time. About 0.2 of a second faster than anybody else on the track.
Yeah, and I tell you what's interesting, though, is, our round 1 winner, Salamao, is not here this week. Won last week with Scusa, so that kind of opens up the field for some other people. But, D'Alencar, Vanchev, names that we're familiar with, we hear them. All those kids are right there for challenging for the lead.
Yeah, very much so, and we'll have to see just how they shake themselves out a little bit more. We get a view of some of the stands of the fans and team members here. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching us here on this Friday. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Valentine's Day.
Let's see if anybody is watching us. I think we've got some viewers out there.
I'm sure we've got some viewers, folks.
So it is Valentine's Day. Honey, if you're listening, happy Valentine's Day. Sorry I'm down here.
I know my fiance is not listening right now because she's at work, but definitely very happy that she is. I can confirm, by the way, that we are live because I got a notification about it earlier. We have 126 watching, so there you go.
Yeah, talk about a family affair. My son is running a camera.
There you go.
This week, Nixon, so he's doing a great job. Learning curve for him. He got out of school a day early. Come enjoy this. So it'll be good learning experience for him. So if you see any bad camera shots, it's definitely not from him.
There you go. Yeah. All right, Maddie Grace bringing us around right now into the field. Little bit of a scruffy start. No, yeah, that's
they must have some karts that weren't ready to get lined up. They were waving that thing off early.
Yeah, well, there were a couple karts that were weaving almost, like trying to warm up the tires a little bit in the starting grid, so I was a little bit all over the place. But Maddie will re-rack, restack. Katowski definitely one to watch out for. Had some good speed. Finished 7th when we were here last time around, so Katowski can certainly try to close on in and see what he's got.
There we go. And if you guys have noticed, we're using them this week. We've got the Track Systems Pixel Light system out there, so it helps eliminate unnecessary people to be on the track waving yellow flags just for a safety precaution. So using newer technology this week, we have a kart off in the warm-up, which is interesting. Who was that IndyCar? Pole position.
Roberto Guerrero.
Somebody just pulled a Roberto in the junkyard turn.
It was my mom's favorite driver. And
we had that conversation.
I quite like to make fun of her.
Car 33. Still remember his number.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Car 33. Yep.
I mean, in Roberto's defense, that was an historically cold
36
day.
Degrees or something like that.
Yeah, it was frigid. And there were, if I remember correctly, they only got like 5 laps of green in the opening hour of that race because nobody could get those tires up to temperature.
Yeah, it was, and those cars had a little bit more horsepower back then than they do now.
A little bit.
They spun up. I think, were they turbos then? Or not? Were they the big... I can't remember, but
that would have been late 80s, early 90s, so I think they were turbo at that point.
So, yeah, they spool up like that,
Yeah. All right, let's try this again. Maddie Grace going to bring everybody down on in. There you see them lining in, indication of where the line is. Not seeing a lot of everybody jumping out of line, so that's good. Green flag in the air. We are racing once more. A couple of aggressive moves there and a big move up into the inside. I think that was Jordan Martin. One car up and over. That's going to be the 813
of Landry, who was P5. That was interesting, though, because we have Katowski, and he was not on P2 there. That was interesting. I don't know who was starting on P2. I don't know if that was he jump-started or something. He got moved back. It was because Katalski, I believe, is on a Burrell Art, and that was an RPG, I believe, starting in P2.
Yeah, very much. But Maddie Grace, great job up at the front of the field, continuing to control this, moving her way forward. Big defensive move farther back right now, and that led to a little bit of contact, and Kart's getting shuffled down through the order.
Yeah, that was defensive to uh-oh.
Yeah, definitely saw a little bit of that uh-oh taking place. The 854 starting to move their way forward a little bit to see if they've got a little bit of action. As there we see Drew Jensen. Salamau is out there. That is the 854.
Oh, yeah, why didn't I see him in the qualifying? Do I have the right class up?
That may be a different class. Yeah, I think you've got a different class there.
VLR Junior.
You've only got Group A.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Vanchev is the one leading the way over Drew Jensen, Theo Salamau, and Varela, Gutierrez, Kennedy, Orbizo, Medeiros, Centillion, and Dromaliv leading the way right now. That is your top 10, and Alexander Vanchev doing a fantastic job up at the front of the field. Drew Jensen, though, under heavy pressure here from Salamau. Salamau's going to look, and coming behind them is Varela, trying to see if he can get a little bit of a run as well. That's not going to play itself out, but those three battling for P2.
Yeah, that was a early in the day mistake that's made late in the day. Sorry, folks.
It's all good. It happens here every once in a while. Salamau trying to look for a run. Gets it down into turn one. We haven't seen a lot of passes happen there, but Salamau says, I can do it. Gets the run on Jensen, but Jensen's not done. 3 wide down into turn 5.
Ran out a little real estate right there, but still holding it tight. Did not lose too much there. We have the 869 of Edward Kennedy rolling that energy cart.
All right, he's going to try to carry a little bit more speed here. Jensen starting to try to hold, or Salamau rather, starting to hold up at the front of the field. Jensen trying to hold off an attack here from Varela and Kennedy. Ooh, a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump there. Slideways as they go. Varela gets P3. All right, here they come down into turn 13 right now, getting on the loud pedal, bringing their way back onto the main straightaway. Look at all of this behind. Kennedy giving a little bit of a shove here to Jensen, trying to push his way ahead, and welcome to the party here, Medeiros and Centillion. Oh, big move to the
3
inside.
Wide.
Oh!
Big curb right there. Hopefully that didn't bend anything.
That's Jensen, and that cart looks slow. I think they were able to gather.
That was not the best move. There was no room there.
No.
We've seen 2 go wide, 3 little tight right there.
Yeah. All right, so here, we've got a definite push-down bumper there, a little farther up in the field. I couldn't tell exactly who that was on a purple cart, all I could tell.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's probably going to be quite a few push-downs. There's one right there.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. That's the 807, by the way. That's called Medeiros. Yes. So that's going to be a 5-second automatic penalty at the end of this race.
Yeah, well, you have 890 has one too. So there's going to be quite a few go-karts here that are probably going to have push down. So,
yeah.
It's nature of the game. You know, we try to use push-down bumpers to clean up the driving, but sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and the cart in front of you checks up, you pop it, and next thing you know, your bumper goes down.
Exactly.
And it's like you're talking about, there's a go, no-go game. It's down or it's 5-second penalty, no penalty.
All right, so let's recap you here on where everybody stands. It's Vanchev, Salamau, Varela, Kennedy, Medeiros, your top 5. Then Gutierrez, Romero, Centillion, and then Steinbrück and Orbizo, your top 10. Definitely a couple of dragon bumpers there, as it looks like Medeiros and Gutierrez, I think, are the 2 with those pop downs that we were mentioning.
Yeah, unfortunate, but that's the nature of the game. Yeah, who was that in the Paralyn right there? Centillion.
Yeah, Centillion there, trying to be able to carry on. They're going to come across the line once again. Medeiros sets the fastest lap of the race. Centillion able to gain a position, taking over Romero. Orbizo able to gain one as well over Steinbrück. The battle we follow right now, as they come down into turn 9, is that battle for about Gutierrez on back, Centillion on your screen, and Romero trying to close on in.
Yeah, it's pretty tight field right now. We haven't seen this, but we also haven't had a field quite this big.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Here's a good look at the front of the field. That's Salamau and Varela up there in front, but you can see the farther back you go, the tighter this gets. As there we see Gutierrez. That's going to be a nice little battle starting to develop here. That's for about 4th.
Is that the battle for 5th, 6th right there? So we have like groups, little islands of everything going on right now. So it's kind of hard to see what's going on here, but we'll catch you guys up soon.
Nathan Dupuis gains a position there. Big move down to the inside. That's the 807 of Montero's going to send that into the side of Kennedy. He gets it done. Varela's going to be happy. That's going to gain him a little bit of an advantage here as now they try to pull away a little bit. Medeiros does have that position. Nothing Kennedy can really do. Gutierrez holds on to 6th behind.
Yeah, those guys have a little bit of breathing room right there for the group that's behind them, but they keep battling like that, they're not going to have much of a gap left.
No, they're really not. They've got to be very, very careful about that. But Varela starting to lose a little bit of ground. Medeiros has got a lot of speed. Sends it up into the inside of 13. Contact to the side. That's not what you want to be doing with an already pushed down bumper. Medeiros not making friends out there today.
Well, and here's the thing, too, is Medeiros maybe not even know he has a push-down bumper.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of know because you can hear it and you can see it, but maybe he's just like, I'm just trying to build that 5-second lead
That's
as
a
much
good
as I
point.
can and not be held up, so I know I have a penalty, so I want to try to maximize as many spots as I can get, and staying here behind Kennedy is not working for me.
Yeah, so he's going to push ahead right now. Varela lost 2 positions, actually, as a result of that. Kennedy was able to get by him as well.
Well, he's got his eyes set for Salamau there. Let's see if he can do anything on that. I don't know what are our lap times here. Medeiros went purple. They were at the 55.98. Half a second faster than Salamau, so we'll see if... But he's definitely not shaking Kennedy, though. I mean, Kennedy's right there. Got a good run through those corners.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to close in a little bit more. Let's see if he can continue to do so. Salamau across the line. Vanchev takes that fastest lap away with 55.86.
And just continue that gap with over a 5-second lead right now. And Medeiros still 3/10 faster. I mean, this is going to tighten up pretty quick. Almost a second gap between each other. We got 6 laps, probably 5 laps left.
Yeah, that's about what we're coming down to. 1 minute and 50 left on the clock. Let's see what the gap is here with Medeiros. The rest of the field has calmed down a little bit more. It's not nearly as frenetic as we saw earlier on in this race. But Kennedy not letting Medeiros go by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all. I thought once Medeiros got around, he'd kind of start checking out a little bit there. But, Kennedy has a different plan.
All right, let's see here.
Yeah, cut it within a second now.
Yeah, it's down to about 8/10. And Medeiros just set the fastest lap of the race the last time of asking, so he's definitely got the speed to close in here on Theo Salamau.
Well, let's look. So if he has a 5-second penalty, that's going to put him... You're looking about 11th or 12th.
It's going to be a lot for him to try to gain back up, but with the outright pace that we know Medeiros has, I've got to think by the end of Heat 2, he could be looking at the top 5.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a challenger for the lead by the time Sunday comes. So,
yeah.
You just got to take this. And then, again, there's multiple cars that are behind him that have push-down bumpers as well, penalties. So
take a look at Salamau's bumper here as well. I don't know if it's pushed down, but there's a lot of movement on it.
Well, there's a partial as well.
Maybe that's a partial.
And that's 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
So that could be a partial, or it could just be a loose bumper.
Yeah.
We don't know until we look at it, but it does look a little loose there.
Yeah, it looks a little lower to the ground, but that's not what necessarily got me. It's the movement on it.
And right now, that's not my concern. It's Medeiros on my bumper that's my concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's be interesting. Again, these are our judgments from up here.
Medeiros, big move down to the inside of turn 9. He's got it.
Nice. Oh, I don't know what's going on with Salamau. Just kind of threw his arms up like not expecting that.
Maybe. I mean, that was a perfectly clean move there from Medeiros.
That's definitely again, we're not judges or tech here, but those two right there look like they're having both push-down bumpers.
Okay. Vanchev sets the fastest lap of the race again with a 55.82 with 2 laps to go here on the clock. Medeiros has just gotten by Salamau. Kennedy's still holding in behind. I don't think the hope is diminished here for Kennedy to walk away with the podium on this one.
Oh, not at all. And I'm trying to look here. Where were we at with where did Medeiros qualify at? Let me look here. Because we had an A-B qualifying, so let me see what the VLR Junior here. Yeah, Medeiros started 4th. Running up here, so we'll see what happens. I mean, it's going to be interesting. You definitely got to push down bumper, but by Sunday, him and Vanchev are going to have one heck of a race.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they do, and it's just going to be a matter of time here for Medeiros to continue to claw his way back up through the field, get himself into a good position. And by Sunday, I think, Varela, Gutierrez, both having problems. They're falling down through the order. Lorenko Varela.
Yeah, I think that field is so tight.
Yeah.
Like we see, like if you go probably being a little defensive, and then you just got a freight trained on the outside. It's that group right there that just went through 5.
Yeah, it is very, very tough to try to gain a position there.
Little hand gestures back there, like I don't. Yeah.
Salamau's letting him go.
That's interesting.
Maybe he knows he's got to push down or doesn't want to fight it.
I don't know what he's doing, but good little battles back here. Little Kart off pace there, but here we go.
And here comes Vanchev across the line. Medeiros takes 2nd. Kennedy, Salamau, your top 4. Santillan will be 5th. Then it's Varela bouncing back. Steinberg, Orbezo, Romero, and Gutierrez. What a race.
Yeah, it was good. Good run from Medeiros. I hate that pushback penalty there, but still a great run.
Yeah, really, really good run there for him. Good racing all the way around. That probably was our most scruffy that we've seen here this weekend, I've got to say. Of the 7 or so heats that we've had, that is definitely our scruffiest.
All right, stop that.
That was my bad.
Yeah, no yawning yet.
No.
We got one more to go, and this is going to be a doozy.
I can normally fight it. That one snuck up on me.
Hey, just let everyone know, he flew in from California.
I did.
So he's still got a little jet lag going on.
I should be used to it. I could practically declare residency in Florida over the next 3 weeks. So
I should last whole 3 or 4 months. So.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well, when we're not talking about our travel schedules, we'll also talk about racing. But coming up next, it's VLR Senior presented by Nash Motorsports. That'll be in just a few moments.
Yep.
27 years ago, Bill Wright began the Florida Winter Tour to break up the slow winter months for karters. And as the word spread, the tour grew. Importers, teams, manufacturers, and drivers alike all came to Florida to prepare for the upcoming season. One weekend became 2, and the fun became serious fun. Since then, the karting season has started with the Florida Winter Tour, where teams compete to establish dominance for the coming summer. Drivers from all over the world look to make their name and leave their mark on the national scene, much like Pato O'Ward, Enzo Fittipaldi, and others have done in Florida Winter Tours of the past. The original Florida Winter Tour, the series that made karting a year-round sport in North America, and where tomorrow's superstar drivers are discovered. 27 years later, you can still go karting and have some serious fun. Are you ready to join the action?
Well, hello, everybody. Jason Ewers with Rock Cup USA here. Hey, I have Seth Nash here with us, who is our VLR Senior sponsor. Kind of doing a new segment here, Seth, just kind of highlighting some of our class sponsors and just kind of a little bit of an advertisement for you guys. Just talk about your program, the karts that you run, and what kind of brings you to run Rock Cup.
Well, first of all, we're from Southern California. For the past 4 years, we've set up an East Coast team so we can handle the West and the East at the same time. I don't know. Every time we come out here, we love attending the ROK event because of the people. I think the tires are really good. I think all my clients enjoy running with this group of people.
Awesome. So what's next for you guys? I know we have the Florida Winter Tour stop in Houston with, SCUSA following after that. I'm sure you guys are going to follow that. But is that an East Coast team or is that a West Coast team then?
So for that event, it's going to be our East Coast team. These past few weeks have been a grind for us. We were here for the first round of ROK and SCUSA. Then we headed west for our 2 Challenge of America weekends that we did for testing in the race. Then we're back here again for 2 weeks. So when we go back home, instead of 3 weeks off before the race in Texas, we got 3 rounds at K1 Speed with our local events, Pro Kart Challenge, and our Challenge of America. So we're working every weekend. I mean, the first 3 quarters of the year are insane. I'm never home. But this is what we have to do to keep developing drivers, getting them better. That's why we're here.
Yep, absolutely. So speaking of developing drivers, let's say some young kids out there watching us, how do they get a hold of you guys? What's the step for someone who's maybe never even been in a go-kart? What would you recommend for them?
Well, I mean, we advertise on social media. We have an Instagram account. We have a website. Then obviously at the track with our setups, everybody comes over and talks to us. We have new drivers joining all the time. Just approaching me at the racetrack or hitting us up on Instagram or on our website.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, appreciate it, Seth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend. And, guys, look up Nash Motorsports if you want to get a hookup on some national events.
Back to the ROK Cup Florida Winter Tour. We are ready for the VLR Senior class presented by Nash Motorsports. Getting ready to head out on for one of our most populous classes. It'll be some good racing action here today, although it's got a lot to do to try to gain in on what we just saw from the juniors, Jason.
Oh, absolutely. This is another big field, second biggest field of the weekend. Got some great talent in this race. Let's see if they can work together as a team out there and see who can work their way up the front. We got Gassio Lee on our P1 with Diego Ramos sitting off pole right there. See if Ramos can figure something out on that outside line and not get suckered back into the 3rd or 4th spot like we've kind of seen.
It's really interesting because we saw that outside line actually kind of working in the wet, because that is a little bit more of a traditional wet line, not as much rubber laid down, so you can really make it work around there. But you get into the dry, that outside lane just gets dusty, it gets marbly, and it gets really hard to try to get a pass on. So yeah, that's going to be a big thing there going into turn 1. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, but Ramos definitely one to keep an eye on. He was second when we were here about a month ago. Cade McQueen was the one that took victory. He will start in 4th position. Louis Westover, Alan Eisenbard, and Chase Gasoli were your top 5. A lot of those names going to be here today.
Yeah, it's, to me, this is probably, the kids respect each other, the seniors respect each other, but they don't give them as much room.
Right.
So the battling with the senior classes is always a little bit more than what the juniors are, just as of racecraft. I mean, these kids are aggressive, and it's going to be fun to see. And this is, age group from 15 on up. So, our Masters, I think our Masters starts at 35. So, there could be, a guy who's got to go to work on Monday, but you got a kid who doesn't have to go to school on Monday. So, that's a little bit different on who's going to take that gap going into that corner.
Well, and as you said, there is a little bit less space given, and that's not a bad thing. It's definitely a little bit more of a, the cart better. You know how to do it a little bit better, and so you're able to take it. As we watch one of the carts getting taken away here on that rollback, just one of the unfortunate casualties of that last
rollback. Round. That's the Indy car in you.
Sorry.
On the trailer.
It happens.
Oh, it's fine. I'm just making fun of you.
On the ATV with Kart.
Yes, ATV with Kart. Yes, absolutely so. But yeah, we'd like to thank Seth Nash. We just did an interview with them and help for their sponsor. Again, we can't thank our sponsors enough for everything they do just to help just give us what we can give.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to put on races.
No.
It's not cheap to race, but it's also not cheap to put on races. And to be able to put on an event that's affordable for most people. We can't do it unless we have the sponsors. And again, we thank all the sponsors. And hey, the sun is poking out.
Yes, it is.
That's interesting. That's good to know. Perfect for us. We've got about 20 minutes left to work, and then maybe we can do a little sun and fun at the pool. I'm not sure. So I see some engines fired up over there. Kart's on track.
Yeah, Chase Gasoli going to bring us out here. Ramos, Garzon, McQueen, Hernandez, your top 5 that will be bringing us on through. So very good to be able to see them making their way on out. And you can see here by this wide shot just how many karts we have got making their way out onto the circuit. This is going to be very, very good to see. You always love to see a big field. And my only hope is that we're just going to be able to keep up with all the action because it is going to be plentiful. But right now, we talked about him a little bit earlier, and we highlighted him earlier, but Caden McQueen, got to be one to watch out for, starting in that 4th position. It is going to be on that outside lane, so that is going to be a little bit of a detriment to him off the downbeat of this race, but I certainly think that Caden's one to watch out for.
Yeah, and, some of these names are names you've heard us talked about today, because a lot of these drivers race multiple classes. So for one, different engine packages. They're on the VLR 100cc engine here, and I think Caden McQueen was running the 125 GP ROK engine as well. So he's able to run a couple classes here, and that's the beautiful thing about this. You can come out here, you can run 2 classes, you can run 1 class, or you can do what I do and announce, or attempt to announce.
You're doing a great job. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's great, and ROK has developed an amazing package here. The continuity of the engines are so close to each other that it really is that the talented driver, you could take the equipment really kind of out of the equation. The motor. Everyone. What's the first thing the driver says if he's slow? My engine's bad.
Right.
You can't do that with a ROK.
No.
It's either you gotta work on your chassis, you gotta work on your driving.
Yep, it is one of the two. But Chase Gasoli, one of my personal favorite names in all of karting, leads their way onto the front straightaway, getting ready to take the green. They enter into the acceleration zone, green flag in the air, and we are racing here in Florida. It's a very, very tight proposition to try to get everybody to go through turn 1 cleanly, but that is exactly what they do, is there's a little bit of side-by-side coming back further through the field, but the first 5, 6 going to be single file.
Yeah, and obviously, Gasoli did not get the start there that he wanted to. So, am I right? 9-3, yeah. No, Ramos is there. Where did Gasoli end up at?
He may have fallen back down through the field. We didn't get a great shot of it, but we'll have to see when they come back across the line to get an update on that timing and scoring. Here they go, a little bit of side-by-side as they try to go down into turn 10. Again, that front pack is going to be okay here. That's the 850 up in the front, or the 950 rather, up in the front of the field. That's Garzon that was able to get the run, so he made that from 3rd.
That's interesting. So he got around Gasoli on the inside. So, very interesting to see what happened there. But, let's see. I mean, everyone's kind of lined up already.
All right, here they go, as it looks like that 3rd place, able to get that fastest lap of the race taken away. A little bit of side-by-side coming back down through the field. Gasoli ends up in 2nd. Ramos and Hernandez trying to sort themselves out a little bit. That's for 3rd and 4th, with Caden McQueen dropping down to 6th.
Yeah, a lot of racing here, so let's just see what these guys do, if they're going to stay patient and just work with each other, or I know I say that a lot, but I mean, it is amazing how some drivers just don't stay patient, and then they start battling, and next thing you know, I understand you want to get in front of the guy in front of you because you want to just start picking them apart, but it does take some patience to be able to put that thing on the podium.
Mauricio Hernandez had been able to get by Diego Ramos, but Ramos fights him back. That's going to be a swap back in position, so that finds Ramos in P3. We've got a slow kart off to the outside of the track. They're going to continue on through as everybody just kind of works their way on through. Quentin Angeli in 14th right now, lost a position to Tizano Rosso, as here they come side by side farther back through the field. That's Hernandez trying to make another run.
Well, look who's taking the move right there, and that is Ramos right back there with the pass on Gasoli, and Gasoli just is now up. Got a little push right there from, what is that, the 871? Or the 971? I don't know who that was. Who was he getting a push
That
from?
may have been Hernandez. Gasoli getting punted out. This is not great. There's Kart's off into the dirt there.
Oh.
Did we lose somebody off to the side?
I couldn't see. We've got a
No,
yellow.
we're good. We're good.
What was the flagger doing there? I don't know what he's doing there. Anyway. Yeah, I thought I couldn't see because we've got our timing and scoring display in that corner, and all I saw was dust flying.
Well, and there's a shadow right there, so that looked a little sketchy. All right, Garzon and Ramos now on an island unto themselves. Della Vecchia, where did he come from? Up into third, followed by Gabriel Manning, continuing to work their way on up.
They must be working together because Mick came from way back in the field. Like in Mick, Ninth, yeah. And I've ran with Mick before, and I worked with them when they were helping out with Indy Karts up in Indiana. So very talented driver right there. Not surprised.
All right, here they come. This is Gasoli we see on, or excuse me, that's Gabriel you see on your screen holding off an attack here from Frederick Manning right now. And I think that is Gabriel that's been able to hold on to third place. That actually may be Della Vecchia that goes down to the inside of him. Yes, indeed it is. That's the 960 that just got the run. So your order that you watch on your screen in the battle for third is going to be Della Vecchia, Gabriel, Manning, DeLeo.
Yep, and Ramos is just kind of checked out. Where's Garzon at?
Garzon's way up at the front.
And remember, if I'm correct, I think Sebastian is graduated to the senior class. I think he was a junior last year.
I think he was.
Yeah, and he now graduated up. So, oh no, we got to watch out. We got the boss man and the.
Oh, we got the big boss coming up in here. Is Mike Burrell coming up to join us as we continue to watch right now. This is going to be Della Vecchia continuing to lead over, or no, Gabriel's gotten him back. Excuse me, Gabriel's got the run. Oh, contact there. That was Manning into the back of Della Vecchia.
Good run for Mick right now. Glad to see he's running that well, but that is a freight train of karts behind him.
You make one mistake in this field, you're going to find yourself slipping back down through the order. Absolutely. Gabriel's got a little bit of an advantage here over Della Vecchia. That's going to be good. He just needs that little bit of breathing space. But look at that up at the front. Ramos and Garzon starting to fight a little bit more. They're getting closer and closer. Gabriel Gasoli back up into fourth place. Now we check in on the battle for the lead. Ramos taking a look to the inside.
He looked inside. Yeah, I mean, that's last thing they need to be doing right now. There's 5 minutes to go in the race. Just work with each other and be patient. Don't be fighting for the lead.
No.
Not when you've got that train right behind you, not too far behind you, but
I mean, they do have about 4 seconds of a gap.
We got something going on. I saw a yellow flag. Got a cart off up there on the junkyard turn. I don't know who that was. I don't know what Ramos was doing there, but there we go. Settled the cart back in.
Maybe just trying to distract, but
and looks like got around Gabriel.
Yeah, Gasoli able to hold back on to third place. Look at this gaggle of carts coming back on through. That's from about 6th on back. Manning, DeLeo, Hernandez, Alipai, Reyes. Here we check back in on the battle for the lead. Garzon getting a little bit squirrely, a little bit sideways, coming through 1 and 2.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if Ramos is just toying with him right now.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thought.
Yeah, I think he knows he's got the pace to get by him. He's just kind of sitting there just being patient. Again, not giving up your racing line, not showing what you have.
Yeah, he doesn't want to send the move too early here in case it backfires and he loses his opportunity on where he feels the strongest to make that overtake. All right, here he comes. Down into turn 10. Again, that's a little bit of a lift of the throttle. Ramos clearly had the overspeed to be able to get that to go, and Diego didn't want to make it run. He's just going to hold in behind in that red and white number 913, trailing behind the green and white 950 of Garzon.
Yeah, he's got the Burrell Art just on rails right now, and I think he's got complete control right now, just waiting to see what he needs to do just to be able to make that pass, or just waiting for Garzon to make the mistake that's going to open up the door, so he doesn't have to shove it in.
There it is, down to the inside of turn number 5. Easy as you please. Diego Ramos gets the position and gets P1.
Yeah, let's see what he can do here now. Let's see if he's got that pace that we think he has in that go-kart, and he's going to be able to build a little bit on that lead. But I tell you right now, Garzon has nothing to do about that.
No, it looks like he's able to carry decent speed through that technical section of 7, 8, and 9. He's going to keep on the back here. My question's going to be is if he looks to the inside going into 10. No, he's going to stay in line. 2 minutes and 40 seconds there or thereabouts on the clock. So he'll keep just trying to hold in behind there. Slightly opposite line, slightly alternate line than Ramos. Again, probably just seeing if there's any breaks in the armor.
Yeah, absolutely. 56.07. So Ramos just went purple on that one with a 55.8. Oh, late move right there, but made it stick. But he's going to – the over-under we talk about? Ramos just gave. He's like,
yeah, he didn't want to fight that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good. And there you see, Garzon wants this, willing that number 950 Kart forward, just pushing it ahead as much as possible.
Yeah, they got a 5-second lead.
Fight, have some fun.
Yeah.
You got 5 seconds. Why not hold that in as much as possible?
We have Gabriel's down to 6th, so he went from 3rd at one point to 6th. But again, that's how tight that field is in the back there.
Well, they've started a little 3-car breakaway here with Gasoli, Hernandez, and Gabriel.
Yep.
We haven't really seen that, but that's really stretched things out a little bit. Garzon back into the lead here. Minute and a half left on the clock, plus 2 laps we have to remember. We're going to see another move here from Ramos. Yes, we are. Down to the inside. Tries to fight it back on the crossover. Does Garzon, but shutting the door is Diego Ramos. Again, it looks like there's just a little bit of a lack of grip in the rear tires here from Sebastian Garzon. It looks like he's just sliding the kart a little bit. I noticed it there through 7, and he's going to try to fight back on the inside, though. Proving me wrong is Sebastian Garzon, side by side, coming into 11.
Well, they're fighting each other, and I like that. Again, like you said earlier, they've got enough gap between third here that they can sit there and do this all day long and still have pretty much a good little gap at the end of the race.
3 laps to go for your leaders at the line with only about 30 seconds left on the clock. Again, we run 10 minutes plus 2.
And, Ramos is like,
He thought about it. I wonder if this is a position where you're kind of thinking back, almost like oval racing, where you're trying to count back a little bit.
a little bit of activity back in the pack. I'm getting pointed at, not sure what's going on.
Somebody off almost across the start-finish line. It looks like that was coming through turn 3, just absolutely clobbered the barriers.
Oh, okay, a little crossover there. Well, we'll keep it here on the leaders here and see if Ramos has anything for Garzon or if he's just going to be patient sitting back until the last lap. And I feel like they can pass each other at any point in time that they want to pass each other.
Well, that's again, there we get a look at exactly what happened.
12. Who's that?
Sydney Castles, I believe.
Hopefully they're okay.
I did see them get up out of the cart, out of our commentary window, so they were able to walk away from that. Meanwhile, Ramos able to get the move. Trying to fight back on the over-under is going to be Sebastian Garzon.
Ramos was very defensive there, yeah.
Yep, going to try it again, coming through on turn number 6. Checking behind is Ramos. They know this battle's afoot. All right, 2 to go at the line for these drivers. Here comes Garzon, trying to be able to make that outside lane work, looking for the crossover. Good defense there from Diego Ramos, holding that in. Now they're going to come through 11.
I mean, Ramos just set the fastest lap of the race in that last lap as well, too. So 1 to go at the line.
There we see the white flag in the air from the flagman. Ramos looking a little bit to the inside there, seeing if he can get a run. Through 3 they go. Not quite close enough. Defensive line there from Ramos. Garzon looking to try to get something to go. All right, here they go, coming down into turn 7 right now. Here we see Garzon thinking about that sneaky move down into turn 9. Not going to be able to play it out there. Still could get a run down into turn 10. This could be the moment. Ramos certainly knows it. He has defensive contact into the back there.
Yeah, that was, I don't know what that was. Ramos is like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. And there it is. Now he's going to try to look for a crossover. Coming through 11. Oh. Gets it done. Brilliant stuff there from Sebastian Garzon. And they're going to come across the line. Garzon takes it by 1,000th of a second.
Woo! Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what little conversation there. But good battle up front. Just a great race in general.
Caden McQueen comes home third. McGabriel able to move his way back up into P4. Raheem Alibai, really good run there from Alibai, moving their way up through the order. I think Alibai started all the way down in 13th. Jordan DeLeo in 6th. Frederick Manning in 7th. De La Vecchia 8th. And Jelly 9th. And Torres 10th. A very, very good run all the way around from all drivers. That's exactly the kind of stuff you want to see.
Yeah, good run by Quentin and Jelly as well. Coming from 17th all the way up to 9th. Like, that's a great run. But then you have Alibi 8 spots up. Another great run for them. So, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be interesting to see if anybody has anything for Ramos and Garzon.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the real question here at this point to see who's able to get them. Well, folks, that's going to wrap us up here for the day. Thank you so much for joining us here for Rock Cup Florida Winter Tour round number 2 from the Orlando Kart Center. We will be back with you tomorrow morning. That is February 15th for heat number 2. That'll be starting off at about 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. So in the meantime, thank you again for joining us here. And on behalf of this whole commentary team, including Jason Ewers and myself, DJ Clark, thank you so very much, and have a very happy Valentine's Day.